the thin blue line, where the truth hides behind the badge. This is Beyond.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Beyond the Thin Blue Line. This is episode 7. Last week we had a former orange police officer who was terminated for shooting at a vehicle to try to save his partner. And this week we have a little something different for you guys. This is the complete opposite side of the job, and that's going to be Mr. Kurt Erickson. Kurt, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, bro. Anthony, what's going on?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
So,
What's going on?
this is going to be a very different side of the job for you guys to see. And we told you this is what we're going to do. We want to bring other people on. A couple episodes ago, we brought the guy from New Hampshire that got choked out by the police chief, and you heard his story. So I tell you guys all the time, listen, this job, you're touching every area of life. So if you're going to have a show about this job, you should bring every area of life onto it, because that is what the job is about. You're going to be talking to every different type of person when you're a cop, and you have to do that. If you're neglecting people when you go out on calls and you're like not talking to everybody or getting everybody's story, you're a shit cop, okay? It's part of the job to talk to everybody. So this is what we do. And listen, I'll keep it real. There's some people that were like, why are you going to bring this guy on? Why are you going to give him a platform? Because they're so pro. Listen, they're on one side. They're on the cop side. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's their mentality, and that's understandable. Everybody has their opinion, And then there's people in the middle that understand why we do what we're doing and why we're talking to everybody, because this is a show. I'm not a cop anymore. And then you have people on Kurt's side, okay, that are going to be watching because they're supporters of him. So this is what life is, man. We got people everywhere that have different opinions and different views, and that's why
everybody has the right to do.
Yeah, that's why we talk about it. So we'll get into this show.
That conversation is great. That conversation is great content. To have a 100% view, that's when you accomplish things.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, even in this show, there's things that I agree with and probably am not going to agree with that you do. You know what I mean? But I'll keep it real with you. It doesn't mean that I have to dislike you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not that person. I'm not the type of guy where I can have conversations with everybody. You know what I mean? As long as you're not doing anything poor to my life, you're not like being a shit person to me. I'm not going to be any which way to you. You're giving respect to me, I give respect to you. That's how it goes. And that's and this is what we talk about, because if you want to be a good cop, that's how you be a good cop on the street. If you give respect, you always hope to get it in return. It doesn't always happen, but you always have to be the one to give it, okay? So that's what we're here doing. All right.
I got a little take on that, a real hot take on that actual concept of respect.
Sure.
I changed mine as I got older. I used to give me respect. I'm going to give it back to you. You get what you get. I actually changed my thought process on that. And I more view it like I'm going to give everybody respect off the rip. Okay, everybody deserves it. You get it off the muscle until you show me otherwise. And then I'm going to give you back the energy you're giving me.
Yeah. I'm kind of similar.
I think the opposite.
I'm kind of similar, to be honest, though, because the way I am is this: like, it's hard for me not to give you the same energy you're giving me. You know what I'm saying? So, but anybody that if I don't know you, if I'm like whatever, you're always getting respect from me, always. And unless you are being disrespectful to me, then I'll determine whether or not where I want to go with that. Some people it's worth my time. Some people it's not. Yeah. But respect is a big factor, man, in life in general. It just is. And as you get older, you mature. So that's just part of the game. That's how it should happen. Your brain should mature as you get older. So we'll see what the deal is. This show's going to be interesting. Let's get into it. Kurt, first and foremost, I always like to get into kind of learning about who you are as a person prior to getting into what's going on with your life and the police. So tell me a little bit about you, how old you are, where you grew up, things like that.
So I'm 40. I be 41 this year, a couple of days actually. I started my life. I was born in California. Then when I was 5, hold on a second. When I was 5, I moved up to Alaska. Um, I was up there till like 10 years old. Then I came out to Connecticut here, 95. And then shortly after that, I entered foster care in about 97, 98.
Mm-hmm.
And then bounced around little group homes, things like that, the normal foster care system thing. And then I was very fortunate in one of the group homes I was at when I was 15, 16. The woman that was taking me out to be, a mentor on the weekends, taking me out of the group home, hanging out, she secretly became a foster parent and asked me to come live with her. And I obliged. I was just looking for somebody to love me at that point,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
That's great.
she
Wow.
she instilled some great morals in me and changed a lot of my thinking, not
Mm-hmm.
enough to pull me out of the street, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of my morals that I stand on today are from her and were
Mm-hmm.
instilled by her, and I'm very grateful for that. And then after that, I took my prison tour when I was younger. I robbed a pizza guy when I was 18.
Oh shit.
Um,
Yeah,
Wow.
I beat the shit out of somebody now. That's the difference, I caught that,
yeah,
and that's horrible. The guy's just working, and
yeah.
I did some time for that, and then when I came out on that, I still wasn't ready, and I was robbing drug dealers, kicking in doors, taping people up, things like
Well,
that.
so what kind of got you into that life? Like, so you
Yeah.
went from the
Crazy.
foster care. You had this good role model in your life, and what made you kind of go down that road?
Money,
Money.
money. It was crazy because I've always been a hard worker, even
Mm-hmm.
young. I started working immediately, and I couldn't get enough. And I'm very fortunate to never have a drug addiction, but I was, eh, here for instance, before I caught that second case when I robbed a drug dealer, I was working offshore fishing.
Mm-hmm.
I was making money at 22 that is comparable to what I'm making now, maybe a little less, but I'm very fortunate now. But I was making $2,300 a week and still running out and robbing a drug dealer at
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
22. No drug addiction. That was ridiculous. That
Yeah.
was just
Yeah.
the thrill of it, the money, the adrenaline. I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed the lifestyle, and it's sad to say, but that was where I was at that time of my life.
Yeah. Now,
Wow.
did you have like friends that were doing that stuff, or you were just kind of doing this shit on your own? You made those decisions on your own. Were you kind of like drawn into that from other people?
You want to hear what's sad about that? I was almost the ringleader.
Mm.
Every friend group that I had, that I had like the group that I had during all that time. One of the guys is very successful. He's in the army. One guy's a cop, and then one guy has a family in a house and doing his thing. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe like two of us were doing it, but it was me. I was like pushing. I had the car. I had this. I was doing that, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Wow.
really bad.
Interesting.
Honestly, I was my own creation. I feel like.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. That's interesting, man. No,
Yeah.
yeah, I always wonder that, like how kind of these people get into this lifestyle and whether they're doing it because of their own reasons or people kind of drag them into it. There's always as a cop when you're out there on the streets, you come across people that are doing this stuff, but you don't really
Yeah.
know their stories, their backgrounds as to why they're doing it.
I always ask stories. Anybody I ever
Yeah.
dealt with.
I
Always.
love
I was
that.
always
Yeah,
intrigued.
man.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I think we're good. This show is pretty good to be honest because we, if you're a good cop, you're gonna talk, man. You
Yeah.
you want to know more. Like you should have a brain that wants to know more. In every aspect of being a cop, if you're investigating, obviously you want to know more. But
Mm.
just as a person, like talking to a person, man, you should want to know more about them. That's the whole reason. If you're talking to somebody and you don't really give a shit, then what the fuck are you even talking to them for?
Yeah. And why you even
So.
cop?
There's no understanding there at that point. Really,
Exactly. You're
you
just
know.
yeah, 100%. Yep. Yep. No, I've that's how my brain works, man. It's like very in depth. I have to go as deep as I can with everything. It's like kind of so it's great, but sometimes it sucks.
Mm.
But but yeah, no, that's interesting, man, that you got into that life. So you were what was your longest prison sentence so far in your life?
I did two threes,
Hmm.
2 3 year bids, and then on that second bid, it was my idea, which is dumb now in retrospect, but I took 7 years special parole and three flat on the second bid, and I actually offered that. It was kind of dumb because what happened was I ended up doing three out of that seven special parole, also in jail. So I ended up doing like 9 years total altogether.
Oh shit.
In my life.
Wow.
Now, where was this happening? Were you doing? Where were you living when you were doing this? Bridgeport.
Exclusively, all my crimes and convictions are all in New London.
Oh, okay. So is that where you were living out there?
Yeah, I was out there for high school.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. And so then when you get out of jail, your last time you got out of jail, when was that? When this was all like when you were kind of basically, I mean, obviously you have cases going on now and stuff, but you haven't done any time. So when was the last? Yeah. When was your last like doing time?
2012, 13. I did like a year and a half.
Okay. Gotcha. So you come out of that, and where do you go from there?
I ended up in with nothing. You know, I had zero, and I ended up in Hartford.
How old were you then?
Oh God, 30, 31 maybe. Wow. 2015, 14, right around there.
Yeah, so that's not. I mean, it's about 10 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so then, you're up in Hartford. Yeah. So what made you go up there? You just kind of bounced up there, or?
Yeah, I ran up there with my cousin at the time, and then I ended up taking over their apartment, lived there for a little bit, met a girl, and during all this time though, I had actually picked up a trade. Okay. Let me think how that happened there. I picked up the trade all the way in 2012, like 11, when I was out on the street in Bridgeport. I answered an ad on Craigslist for garage door helper, and I started helping this guy, and then all of a sudden, fast forward back to Hartford, where when I was out and all that, gentleman that I started working with had contacted me. He was a drunk, an alcoholic, and he was telling me, "Oh, I'm dying. Come take over the company, this and that, or come work it." And I was like, "Yeah, right." I thought he was just being a drunk, talking at night or whatever. So I went down there. Dude was dying for sure from cirrhosis, and I made him check into the hospital, and I took over running the business. Mm-hmm. And after that, we kind of like signed it over to me. He didn't want anything to do with it anymore. He came out of the hospital, had a miraculous recovery. He was they induced him in a coma for like 3 months.
That's crazy.
And he was done from alcohol. Yeah, he had no. They didn't know how he was walking.
Yeah, it's wild.
But he miraculously came back. Kidneys came back. Everything came back. And I haven't talked to him in a long time, but he's been doing fine. And ever since then, I took over the garage door company, and I rebranded it and reestablished it. And I've been working in garage doors ever since.
Wow. That's
interesting
pretty cool
story.
Yeah, that is interesting.
That's all over the place.
Well, not even just that.
My life's a movie.
Yeah, not even just that. It's like, I mean, like how many people meet a guy that just is like, "Hey, take my business, bro." You know what I mean? Like,
it's good because it's unique with garage doors. I mean, some other contracting companies as well. It's not the name of the business really. It's the phone number.
Uh-huh.
When I go into garages, I put my sticker with my name and number by the wall button on the machine on the door, and you're having customers call me that are either repeat customers or they're new people that own the house, and they just see my number.
No, that's true. Yeah,
I don't even need to advertise anymore. You know?
That's a smart advertising aspect, because it's funny when I bought my condo down here in Florida, I had to get my AC looked at, and there's a sticker on it. So of course I call these people. You know what I mean? It's why wouldn't I? Yeah, well, that they know the unit, they know they know the house already. Why wouldn't I want to call them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Yeah, that's great. No, that's a cool story. So you've been doing garage doors ever since. Now, where are you living now?
It's undisclosed now. I'm up in the valley.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. All right. So now what brings you back down to this area? Because I see a lot of, so you're in Hartford, you start doing the garage door thing, whatever. And then
when I started the garage doors, I came right back down to the shoreline. I was back in Morris Cove. Gotcha. That's where we started. I'm a Staven boy like you.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Damn. That's funny, man.
A Cove guy.
Yeah, man. No, that's where I worked District 9 out there in New Haven for a long time. Most of my career,
right
actually.
With my guy Libero, Mikey?
Yeah, yep, absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
Yeah, Mikey was my neighbor for years.
Oh, nice, bro.
Oh shit.
Yeah, no, the Cove is actually a nice area. It's like one of the areas in New Haven that's actually pretty nice and has very nice houses, and there's still a lot of shit that goes on over there. People think that it's But obviously you got the water.
Come down there. They don't even some of the really like young, fresh ones would come down there here and there, and they wouldn't even know that's New Haven. They didn't think it was New Haven.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah. I mean, it runs right into East Haven. There's a lot of shit that goes on out there. Believe me, bro. I've seen it all. And there's some dudes doing some wild shit out there, man. I mean, listen. Then you had Fireside back in the day. You had all that shit going down. Like it was a wild. Like, sometimes I sit here, man, and like my life is like a lot different now, obviously. But I think about how the fuck, like, that's not a normal life. Like people like Kurt's life isn't normal, what he was doing, but even what a cop's life is not normal either. When you're working in a city, if you're working in a smaller town, like we talked to Eric last time, it's a little different, but when you're working in a city like New Haven, Bridgeport, Hartford, like Kurt's life, it's a movie. It literally is like a movie, and to think that, like, I thought this the other day, I forget what I was watching. I think I was watching something. I don't know if I had police in it or whatever, but I thought to myself, I'm like, man, we think that we go to work every day, and so it's like it just becomes so normal to you, and like the chaos, the craziness, dealing with nuts. Normal. It's not, bro. It's not normal at all. And I sat there to myself, I'm like, man, what's nuts is like you go into your shift and you go to do like deal with craziness all day, and then you go hand your keys in, and then you go home, you go to the gym like it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'll tell you a story real quick, and then we'll get into the rest of Kurt's life. But there was a time where Dave, Dave, obviously. Yeah. He was my partner, one of my best friends. I was actually off for like 2 or 3 days. I think I was on vacation, and he was working. The last day that I was off, they get a call that there's a guy in the Cove where it was on Woodward Ave where the parks are. Woodward Park and all that shit over there? Yeah. So there's houses across the streets from the park, and it's dark. Obviously, it's nighttime. This family comes home, and one of their family members are in the house with a shotgun or like a rifle, and they're like, he's not mentally right, I guess, or something. I don't know. They don't really they're not that close with him. He shouldn't be at the house. When cops get there, it's Dave and I think 2 other cops, and he's not in the house. They don't know where he went. He ran out somewhere. Now they don't know where he is. So Dave's a great cop. I think the other cops he was with were so-so, from what I heard. I don't know. I don't remember. But anyways, so they're literally looking for this guy, or they're in the house, they're taking the call, whatever. They don't know. This guy's proned out across the street in the fucking park,
holy
basically
shit.
Watching them. You know what I mean? He could have picked them off with the rifle if they wanted to. Somehow they see that he's out there. Now it's like him and 2 other cops, and now he's proned out still, and they're screaming at him, yelling at him, like, yo, like drop the gun, blah, blah, blah. There's another cop with him who's now a sergeant. I don't remember if he was a sergeant back then. Anyways, nice guy, but this is like the dumbest thing you could do. He's like a very, he comes off as he's supposedly a very godly guy, right? So this cop is like screaming, they're all screaming to drop the gun. This cop starts running towards him. Okay. Yeah. While 2 other cops are like looking at this cop, like Dave's like, what the fuck are you doing? Screaming at him. Like, bro, get the fuck away. Get back here. Like, what are you doing? Now you're in the line of fire. This guy could just shoot you. What are you doing? Like, he doesn't want the guy to die.
He's running in the crossfire from his car back up. Yeah,
it's crazy. It was crazy. So now the guy starts to get up with the rifle, right? And now they're thinking they're gonna have to shoot this guy, but this other cop's in the way now. This guy gets up, he blows his head off. Blows his whole head off. Yeah. Blows his whole head off. Crazy, bro. Crazy. But and so the reason I tell this story is we're talking about like we think this life is normal. So when
go home, eat some dinner, and say hi to your wife.
I'm not even gonna lie. Listen to what happens, bro. This guy. So my partner Dave, he's like, if you know him, he's a very like big Italian, off the boat type dude. Yeah. Awesome guy, bro. But he was a hothead, right? A hothead Italian, and dude, we had so many good times. But anyways, he tells me how when something like that happens, it's supposed to be tragic, right? So they bring in a team, like the crisis team, like a day or so later, a couple days later, to talk to you in a group, and they're like, how are you, blah, blah, all this stuff. So they look at Dave and they go, so that night after you got out of work, when you went home, what did you do? And they're all dramatic about it. And he goes, what do you mean? What did I do? I made a turkey sandwich and I went to bed. He's like, and like that was it. But like there's like that's the life of a cop in a city like that. It's like you don't think anything of it. You're like, dude, I've seen dead bodies like fucking nothing, dude. It's whatever. Actually, the next day, me and Dave they called us out because it happened at night. We had to go out there and we had to pick up his like eyeball, his jaw, everything because it was scattered all over the park. They didn't want the kids coming out there to play
Oh my
on the
God.
field. So of course they call me and Dave to come do it. It should have been like, fucking B of I and all that shit. But yeah, so craziness, bro. They think that you think that life is normal.
With the budget in New Haven, they might be able to force some kind of team to pick that up,
We have it. It's called the B of I. You know what I mean? It's basically like our CSI team. They should have came out there and did that shit, but no, of course not. Listen, getting people out. I mean, listen, there's a lot of shit that goes on in New Haven. So if they're already on something, they're on something. But on days it's like laziness. So much fucking laziness. But all right, so let's get back into it. So now Kurt's back down. Now you're back down in the shoreline. You're in the cove, whatever. You're doing the garage door thing.
About 2017, 18, then.
All right, cool.
Okay.
So that's about like 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago. Now things are going well, and you're not really having police interaction at this time. I mean, you got out of jail, you got a good job, you got a business.
Most productive. I mean, no, I'm very productive now, but that was like my big change, Not. I mean, I was already progressing to that. I've already changed my way of thinking and things like that, and my production in society. I changed that kind of view, and I wouldn't do criminal activity anymore. But I was so close. I was about to file for my pardon. I was getting my a passport. I was about to start leaving the country, and shit hit the fan with Chief Perno in West Haven.
Okay, so let's get into this story. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So we had me and my girlfriend at the time. My fiance. We had he got a new dog, a Rottweiler, a puppy, and she wanted a fence. I'm like, cool. I could build anything. And so I went and got I got the map from the town. I went and got a surveyor, and it turned out we owned like 8 more feet towards the neighbor's yard. So the classic, property dispute in America. And so what I did under advisement from my counsel at the time, I had a property attorney I hired. I marked it and put a line up, before I make my fence. And the neighbors couldn't, they didn't like it, obviously. And they had a friendship with the police department in West Haven. And West Haven has a bit of a reputation, as we know. It's like an oligarchy almost. It's like nepotism. It's nepotism to a criminal level in my opinion. It's disturbing because nepotism is going to happen. We got to be honest. It is what it is.
What do you mean? There's like a lot of cops' kids and stuff that are getting hired there and things like that.
Yeah, all over the city. Yeah, I mean the chiefs, their whole family works for the city. It's not one that doesn't. Jobs that they shouldn't be. Ones where I was on the little stuff before I used to spotlight. Like the chief's son didn't have a CDL and he's working in the Parks and Rec and driving trucks. That's silly. Yeah. But back 8 years ago, I would have platformed that and put that up. But I really didn't have time. So that's not a bigger issue, really. Who cares? I care, but who cares?
Well, listen, we talk about this stuff, and that's why we expose stuff too. Because I tell people, I'm like. That's why I tell people all the time, I'm like, you need to look at the top the most. Stop looking at the bottom. I understand that there's some bad apples down there too, but the top is like, bro, you want to talk about rotten? The top is fucking rotten.
Right. You're not wrong. I mean, there's guys that are under the Perno there that I've known them in my first department that I really went at hard. They got guys that are good that are lower level that should be up there, be the next in line, but. Perno's sitting there. He's waiting until he dies, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, we had the on-scene media guy on here, and he even kind of was saying that, the West Haven chief is a problem and stuff like that, and that he's had problems with him and stuff. So, and he said he used to have a good relationship with him, and now it's not so good. So, I don't know. So continue with that story with the property line now.
Yeah, so I mark out the line. We're doing our thing. I start getting police responses. I have, at that weekend, I had my girlfriend or my fiance's sister was over with her husband. We had a newborn nephew that was there. So we were having like family time, you know, cooking out in the back, you know, different things like that. Cops started arriving, like, and I've documented it, 6 visits in 72 hours. And literally every time coming to talk about property and how I was at that point, I already was educating myself for a long time. Like, listen, guys, this is a civil dispute. You guys can pounce in, you know?
You're right.
And we had a couple discussions about that. The 5th visit was still kind of cordial, and I showed them a map. I didn't have to show them my fucking map. You know, I was trying to, you know, alleviate the situation and ease it, which don't do that with police, most of these people. You know, it's not the best option every time, you know? Unless you got a feel for the situation. I mean, you can be honest with police too. I'm not saying that. But I overshowed them information, showed them stuff, and they agreed with me. He's like, "Oh, well, you know, I would tell you." He took his ego, the Croce, Officer Croce, Michael Croce. He's like, you know, you can hear him in the video. He's like, "Oh, you know, I would tell you if it's not, but you're right, it is civil." You know, trying to keep his bravado or whatever. I know it's civil, you know, and go deal with it. I got an attorney for it, you know, and thought it was over, and then all of a sudden, the next night we're cooking. While we're cooking, I see like flashlights, you know, and I look over, and it's a detective and his partner, Michael Croce again, the same guy from the night before, but now with Detective D'Amico, Mark D'Amico, and they came on my property. I got the video of that. I gave it to you. It's pretty dark, but they came on my property. You know, we had some words. I grab a retainer at one point out of my van and bring it up. I purposely left plates off my vehicles during that span of the 72 hours. When they first started coming, like, I took all my plates off. I don't want them running shit. I don't want nothing in my record. You know, all that stuff. You know, I don't want any extra information for them. Because I wasn't giving my name every time they pulled up.
What was the were the cars on the street? Because
no, they're on my property.
Oh,
yeah,
they're
in my
good
driveway.
then. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Because I was
totally
gonna say, don't give them a reason. You know what I mean? Because that's.
Well, I know they can still, if it's visible from public, they can run it from the street. It is what it is. I don't.
But if you out, the reason I asked was because obviously, if you have no plates on your vehicle on the street, they can like tow that shit. Yeah, you know what I mean. They can fuck with you more. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. But you know, so I did that, and you know, he comes on. We have some words on the property, and he's like, "Oh, your van's not even registered." He's yelling back and forth to me. I'm like, "Well, can you leave? Can you get the fuck out of here?" You know, and they started to depart, and then I went and got a retainer, and I brought it up to him. At that point, I thought that meant something. I know I don't even do that shit now. It's stupid. But I came up, you know, I'm showing him a retainer for the issue, and then I told him to suck my dick, and he yelled breach of. He said, "Oh, that's a breach of peace arrest." I'm like, "Yeah, the fuck right. You know, not my property before noise. It's not even noise.
Nah, you know? I disagree with that. Listen, as a cop, you know how many times, and we talked about this on the last episode, okay? You know how many dudes talk shit to me? You know what I mean? Like when I was at
Houston versus Hill covers all that, you know?
Almost every fucking day they talk shit, bro. What do you think's gonna happen? Like, you know what I would do? Honestly, I would talk shit back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm either gonna talk shit back or I'm gonna laugh in your face or I'm gonna be like, yeah, bro, okay, cool, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would just play the game, you know, because I'm you have to know what you're dealing with. You're doing this every single day. If you can't control your emotions, how the fuck you getting through an entire career?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna have a rough career.
Yeah, but even on top of that, I was telling Anthony, I'm like, you know, the guys on the corner and the corner stores, this, that, whatever, like if you're working out there on the streets and that's your beat, bro, and you're out there for most of your career, everybody starts to know each other. You know the guys on the streets, they know you. You know what I mean? And they have the cops that they like, they have the cops that they dislike. They don't necessarily like every cop, but they know what cops that are cooler than others. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to be one of those cops where they have some respect for you, keep your cool. Don't lose your emotions. Like it's like anything else, right? It's like, you know, a guy when you see another guy, if that guy's in control of his emotions, you know, but you know he's not a pussy, that's a dude that you can respect. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a stand-up dude. You know that he's real, he's honest, he's gonna be straight with you. That's how I was trying to be when I was a cop, because I mean that's just who I am in general. But if you see a guy like that, you can respect a guy like that. But a guy that you're describing, that when you say suck my dick and he's like, oh, that's breach of peace. That's breach of peace. You know what I mean? Like I don't like that.
Detective at that, you know?
Yeah, that's corny. Like that's just corny. Like so all right, so he's telling you that basically you guys are going back and forth. So how?
Yeah,
Tell.
I tell him suck my dick. He says he's already left the property at that point, and as soon as I say suck my dick, he starts approaching with the other cop. Breach of peace arrest, and I was like, yeah, the fuck right, and I'm backing up, hands up, my phone up, video. I told him just fuck you until the end, and they tried to dump me. I ended up getting back up, and then they just Croce hit me with the taser against my car, and I was done.
Okay. Well, we have that video, folks. So let's watch it. And then we'll get into what everybody else wants to know, which is how the activism started and how you got to this point where, from what some people would say, is Kurt Erickson versus the cops.
Yeah, it's Dave.
Let's see. This is it right here. You guys can see this?
Yeah, I can see.
Yep.
Actually, let me go. Hold on. Let me go back to my screen thing here. I'll go back to that in a second. I need to make sure the sound is on for it. Otherwise, you guys won't hear it. There we go. All right. Now tell me if you can hear this when this is on.
Yeah, we're good. Turn it up a little
They
bit.
were filming our kids across the street.
We're good.
Okay.
You're a thug. You think you're a thug. I'm not a thug.
Is that him talking to you?
Yeah.
You're right.
Okay.
How do you know? Because your van's not registered. How do you know? I know. How do you know?
You running plates without my permission?
Yes.
Have a nice day. Get out of here. Give him Levinson's number. Tell him get the fuck out of here. Come on. Larry Lawrence Levinson.
Just go inside the house. Let them come. Let them come. Let's just go inside. Harassment. This is begun 6 times. 6 times.
Let's put this on Facebook, guys.
Nothing. Fuck them. Faggots.
6 times. We're not no thugs, bro. We social workers. We work for the city just like you guys. We work for the city just like you guys.
Suck my dick. Fuck out of here.
We work for the city just like you guys. We work for the city just like you guys. Hey, no, 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 no,
Fuck out of here. If he says you're
no, 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 no.
fuck you.
No.
Man, fuck you.
Your private property. No, it's okay. It's okay. I got this. I got this. He's a 60-year-old. He's a 60-year-old kid. He's a 60-year-old kid. He's a 6-year-old kid. He's a 6-year-old kid. You almost take a 6-year-old kid. He's 60 years old. He's 60 years old. You almost take a 6-year-old kid. Fucking abuse. Fucking abuse. You almost take a 6-year-old kid. No, we got it on tape.
Fuck out of here. Suckers, I'll be out in the morning.
All right.
I told him at the end, suck my dick. I'll be out in the morning.
I know, I heard that. Nah, that's what made me laugh, to be honest. But no, so all right, let me analyze this situation here. Now, all right, they're there for this nonsense. Now, here's my personal opinion. First of all, why they keep coming there is my question. Because if I was dealing with a situation like this in my area, and I already knew this was a civil dispute, and I'm constantly going there. I mean, listen, yes, if we get called, if there's fighting going on, then yes, we still have to come. You know what I'm saying? But we don't necessarily want to, and because we've already been there 100 times. But this guy clearly, like, you guys are going back and forth, and he's talking about some other shit with like your vehicles and like running red lights or some shit.
You think your van's not even registered because I took the plates off and shit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. So my question is this. Now, when you said, is that when you go back? Because they're walking off the property. Are they like trying to leave, basically? Are they kind of leaving?
Yeah, they left. They had exited the property.
So they're going back to their cars, it looked like?
Yep.
All right. Now, you run back out there with what, paperwork?
Yeah, I went and grabbed
fuck.
the retainer for the property lawyer.
Yeah, so that's why you say you're like, I was kind of stupid. I should have done that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Hey, this is what I mean. Like, you know what I mean? At least the guy is honest, right? He can admit when he's like, I should have just fucking let it go, and because maybe they would have left. Who knows? But now it's like, okay, now you guys are beefing again. So what makes them though? What makes them kind of like say? Because now I'm kind of confused. Yeah. Because what if they're walking off the property and everything's fine and they're not arresting you? What caused the arrest? You coming back and just
suck my dick.
Yeah, which is not that's not an arrestable offense.
Well, they thought it was.
Whatever happened with that? Like,
I'm still on trial for that. It's 7.5 years now.
How's that possible?
Oh, Judge Russo.
How could a case that simple, that like,
Yeah, I'm confused.
Well, it's compounded now.
why? Because
So
all that shit
after,
happened?
Oh,
yeah, so after that, I started my activism. That's what started me.
Okay. All right. So now let's
And
get
then I
into
started
this.
compounding charges from West Haven PD for the next
Ah,
4 years, and they're all on the same dockets now. But the oldest arrest there is still, God, 6 years old at least. You know, gotta be.
interesting.
Yeah,
that video was 2018. You said
that was 2019 right there,
2019. Okay.
June.
So tell me now, this incident happens, you get locked up, you go down to the precinct, whatever. Now, what happens after this? Do you make a complaint? Do you go in and try to like, now your activism, you say, starts?
Yeah,
What?
so I didn't know anything about activism at that point. So
Yeah.
I did all the normal things a normal citizen would think works or would think how to do it, and you think that the response would be something good. I've noticed in this game too, real quick, and you know this in the department, it's the same way. When you start filing stuff like you were doing in your department and things like that, you expect a result because you're doing the right thing or you're doing what you're doing, and you expect the right response. It doesn't happen. It's a
Hold
big
your breath.
letdown. Trust me.
That's kind of
Don't
ironic.
expect-
It's
Yeah.
that's kind of ironic
Don't
you say
expect
that
them to
because
do the right thing. You know. Always don't
yeah,
expect it.
yeah.
You're gonna be
But at
heavily
the end,
stressed out.
but like you're saying though, you have to do it regardless.
You have
If
to
you
do it.
have to.
It's a grinding stone.
Yeah.
Gotta
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah.
And the point of that response from the system, no matter where you're at, if you're a cop, if you're a civilian doing this, that response is designed that way. In essence, it's part of grinding you down so you get out of Dodge or something.
I somewhat
eventually.
agree because I'll
You
tell
know,
you
it's a tactic.
what I would tell people, like what the Chiefs would do to me is because they couldn't fire me. They had no reasonable reason to. I did my job good. You just didn't like me as a person. So they didn't have a reason to fire me. So what would they do? Make my life miserable. And he's talking about grinding you down. That's what they do. And that's how they push people that they don't like out of the PD.
Out the door. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like
Or
they grind you down.
And the bad ones, they'll shit can them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because
they'll actually promote them and award them and do different things to get them out of the hair. Basically, it's a
that's
weird,
true.
it's
Yeah.
a weird kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yes, it's funny you say that. This is a guy that's not even
He's not
in
even a cop, and he knows this shit.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. They would, yeah. If it's a cop that can't handle the street, is a problem. Whatever, they put him in some little pushy position. Yeah, they bury him. Yeah, everybody. All cops know that shit. That's wild. So you're filing all these. You're filing all these papers. Which is the right thing. You're documenting everything
Well,
because
I didn't file anything. So my first step was this. I wasn't even at the filing, but now I'm at the file. I'm the file guy. I'm gonna drill my paper. But then I thought, okay, maybe I should go to my mayor's office. You know, like I didn't know anything. I'm a first time property and homeowner at that point. You know, I'm like, I don't know anything about that. So I'm like, let me go see Mayor Rossi at the time. You know. And I went over there, booked appointments. I start recording everything. I know better. I always record, anything with any kind of government official, record it. It's not going to hurt. It's a one-party consent state in Connecticut. As long as you consent, you're good. And I was like, okay, let me just record because I'm encountering some lying, And I don't know why I was surprised by that, but I was. And so I start going down to the mayor's office, no response. I talked to her, an ex-state trooper that was her, liaison for the public or something at the time. Nothing occurred. I went outside a couple days later with a sign, protested around the mayor's office. It does nothing. Nobody knows me. And next step was I was at that happened in June. By November, it's re-election, and I'm speaking at the gymnasium. They had some debate between the two mayor candidates and mayoral candidates. And I went in there and crushed it. Round of applauses, this and that, I crushed it, held the mayor to, I held her to the fire in there. I got that video. I killed it. And did nothing. Did nothing. At that point, we're getting into 2020 and George Floyd's going to start happening, When did that happen? You got the date on that? I forget.
I don't know the exact date on it. Let me see.
2020 for sure.
I don't remember either.
But so, needless to say, I'm doing all my different avenues that I thought were proper, and to no avail. And then no new arrests, by the way, either. I wasn't like at the activism level of force and fall. So like I do now, I kind of like take a
Were
pulse
they
arrest.
what? No. Now the cops knowing that they have to know that you're doing this stuff, protesting, going and talking and stuff. You're saying that before you started doing all that, they were fucking with you a lot. When you started doing this, you didn't get any further arrests. So what happens? Do they stop? Do they?
Interesting.
No, so I kept doing all that all year, all the way until July of the following year.
Mhm.
And this is where you can Google me. If you Google Kurt Erickson West Haven, you'll have 1,000 news articles coming up. And we were on every news station for this next one.
Yeah.
There was a sanctioned march that was actually licensed. They had the police holding up, blocking off intersections, everything. The family of I don't know if you remember Mubarak Solomon, the kid that was shot by the trooper, Brian North.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened in my town there, and I felt shitty because the kid is a kid. You know, it is what it is. That's how I felt at the time. You know, and I was like, I'm gonna step out for him. You know, I'm already in this town. Doing my own personal thing. Let me go step out for that. And they were on a march in July of 2020, and we were walking down the street, and some woman with a blue life sticker on her car comes plowing through the protest and hits 2 kids. And avoided the police, took out and just went through them and hit 2 kids in front of me, like clipped them, didn't kill them, but I was like, what the hell? And at that time during the march, I was carrying a Louisville Slugger with an upside down American flag on it. It was my flagpole. And the upside down American flag, I created my organization that very month, Citizens Opposed to Police States. And it's called COPS. That's the.
What does that mean? Tell me what that means to you. Like, what's that? You created this. That's what you named it. What does that mean to you?
As a citizen opposed to a police state, I'm not opposed to police. People have a common misconception with me that I'm opposed. I think we need law enforcement. 100% we need law enforcement. I agree. We don't need it how it's designed. It's designed to go to a bad end right now, and it's just crashing. We can watch it. I mean, you just got to have eyes. And it's the lack of accountability, the lack of the hiding stuff. And it's not even about getting the officer off, I think. I feel like it's the image of the department as a whole, and that's coming from the higher ups. And you're putting an image over, public safety, which is kind of crazy to me. And it's just going to keep snowballing, in my opinion, as far as that goes.
So basically what you're saying here is
we don't like a police state. A police state
you're believing
having a standing army in your backyard, essentially.
Right.
Like your forefathers said.
You believe that the higher ups, like these chiefs and stuff, are protecting like their baby, which is policing, over the citizens.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And that's why I say some crazy things sometimes as far as. So I think citizen safety should come over before officer safety. I'm sorry, it's a tough job, it's scary, and it's dangerous fuck. I'm not gonna ever take that away. And a cop's life is just as important as a citizen, in my opinion. However, if you're hired for a job like that, that is an inherent risk you're gonna.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And to some extent, like, listen, if I'm on the beat and I'm a cop, I would never want to put my life before. I got kids to come home to, but it's a sense of duty. You know what I mean? Military's a lot different. That you got to get shot at first before you shoot. That. Do I agree with that? No, I don't, because then you're really just allowing yourself to get shot. Essentially, that's not cool.
Yeah.
But there's a fine line. It needs to be adjusted and needs to be addressed somehow. And I feel like a complete teardown and rebuild is what's needed.
Well, I can understand that to a certain extent, and I'll tell you this much: I like your viewpoint as a police officer, and I'm sure there's a lot of cops watching and a lot of people that aren't cops watching. But this is something that like you said. There's a lot of people who might have a misconception of you and believe that you're a cop hater. And I actually wanted to ask you that question. You know what I mean? Like, are you somebody who's like hates all? Because I get people that you got to see the comments that I get from people, man.
God.
Like all cops are bad. All cops are this. What's your belief in that aspect? Do you think that, do you like, have you come across cops that you like and that you're cool with and that you think are cool, good cops?
Yeah. So, not all cops are bad. I've never said that publicly. I've never said the opposite either. However, I personally know tons of cops. Tons of my customers are officers, on duty, retired. Um, I'm friends. I don't know if you've seen recently that whistleblower in Bridgeport that ended up getting a teacher arrested that they were going to let back in school, and our work helped get him arrested. And her whistleblowing and putting her career with Bridgeport and the city on the line, and she put her husband's career on the line. Her husband's a Bridgeport cop.
Wow.
Me and her teamed up. We eat dinner together. We hang out. Me, her, and
cool.
her husband. You know.
Yeah.
But
So essentially, you have the mindset of like, listen, like you understand. Yeah, that's I respect that, bro. To be honest, I respect that because it's hard for. This is why we do this show, guys. Because listen, if you look at Kurt's page, okay, you probably think he's a maniac. You probably think he hates all cops. You know all this stuff, okay. But it's interesting because obviously you're listening to him talk here in a different aspect, and it doesn't portray the same as what you're seeing. You know what I mean? Because let's. I'll be honest with you. If I didn't know you, if I'm not never talked to you, and this is why I get more in depth. If I just saw the picture of you standing outside that says all cops need to die today or something, you know what I mean? Like that would make me believe.
The actual quote's important. That was actually important what I did there. That was what is it? Somebody should die with a badge on was the actual.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't believe cops should get murdered. I really don't. I truly don't. I don't want anybody to get murdered.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Explain it then. What does it mean?
Is this just for you to get like looked at? Like, hey, look at me. I'm trying to tell you guys something.
Essentially, that's a good take, but not like look at me. You know, it was look at the words. You know, and what I did on there was that Joe Grit situation was real contentious. I view it as free speech because I really view First Amendment as super. Honestly, First Amendment's our biggest tool for taking over, taking down the government or regulating the government, not taking them down. You know, regulating them and making sure the people have what we need. You know, and First Amendment's the first thing, and that's the thing that they're going to target first because if we can't speak about it, can't even know it's an issue. You know, or a potential issue. It could be issues to some, could be issues to none. You know, but that situation was over a post he made on a story, and he had put that exact words. He had the cop's picture somewhere, but that doesn't change. A lot of people think, oh, he didn't have the cop's picture next to the sign. That's not it helps with the prosecution prosecuting it. That kind of helps with their seasoning of the case, but that really doesn't change that statement because the statement, in my opinion, is still vague. It's still, somebody should die with a badge on. First of all, there's a million people with badges, different types, not just cops. You know, there's all sorts of ways to nitpick that, and like they can say, "Oh, that's being a kid." Well, you got to look at it as the plain words they are. That's my whole thing on that. I mean, that case wouldn't have went. If that was me on trial, we wouldn't have had a trial. It would have been dismissed before trial.
It's funny that I'm asking you this because I wanted to get your viewpoint on that. Like, he just got convicted, and you're out here doing all this type of stuff. You're posting pictures of like cops like with their faces on your page and stuff. So tell me what your viewpoint is on that. Do you worry that they're going to try to prosecute you on this?
Not at all. So here's my thing. In Bridgeport specifically, in that jurisdiction, Fairfield County, GA2, I have case precedent myself in my name on First Amendment and social media comments. So I know for sure they're not going to do it.
And what do you mean by that?
Norm Pattis got the dismissal for me, and I got that shit fucking framed.
So they already tried that on you?
Yeah. So I've had 0 DCF cases in my whole life against my children. I'm a father. I have 3 daughters here. One full time with me for 8 years now. I've had me and her solo, and I have my other 2 daughters on the weekend. And I've never had a DCF case. DCF stuck there. Was sticking their nose in some business around my house at one point a couple years ago in Bridgeport, and I went outside, got some pictures of them, had it out with them and with the worker, and then I put her picture as my profile picture. I don't know who they found. Oh, I do know who they found. Some rookie cop from Troop G, and I feel bad for him because he got smoked on this one. But they went and arrested me. They went and arrested me for breach of peace, harassment, and some other minor charge with $100,000 bond, all misdemeanors, for her picture being on my Facebook page as my profile picture.
Well, here's the thing.
That's crazy.
They can't prove that it's a harassment because you're not really coming
Well, it wasn't
at
harassment.
her.
I never contacted her.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That you're not coming at her. You're not messaging her. You're not like doing anything. You just the other aspect is if somebody's profile is like is if you put a picture out there on the internet, it's pretty much fair game unless you have copyrights to that. You have like shit like that. So it's funny actually. A guy the other day, Anthony.
I saw that. I was reading those comments.
See that message, bro?
Yes.
This guy the other day. I messaged I shared a story to my story from some other guy's like story,
which you can do.
And so he messages me and he's like, just so you know, I'm gonna file a lawsuit. I didn't give you permission to share my story, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? And he's like,
public domain, baby.
Yeah, bro. He goes. I didn't tell you could share that. This is that. I said, bro, are you mentally unhinged? And he's the guy in the video actually that's fighting with the cops, and he's a nut job. And I said, bro, you're clearly like mentally ill. I was like, do you know what your settings are on your Instagram? Because if it's public, then people are allowed to share your stuff.
It's public.
It goes a step further than that. I'll tell you what. It doesn't matter if it's public. That Facebook agreement that you sign or the Instagram agreement that you sign makes anything you post public. Period. It doesn't matter if you're set to private or not. It doesn't matter.
That's true. Well, yeah. I mean, like, listen, a profile picture. Even if your profile is private, but your profile picture is up there, that's free game. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, even if your profile is set to private and for some reason they were able to get onto your page from a third party or something, all that's fair game too.
Really? Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, 100%. Just because you set the private, what the loophole in that is when you sign up, you sign your right to it.
Well, see, nobody knows that because who's reading all those shit?
Fucking 30 pages long.
Yeah, nobody's reading that shit. That's
Nobody's
wild.
that.
That's wild. So okay,
if we want to go back to where we were, so to West Haven, because actually we can jump right back to the DCF shit because it came right after, basically.
Okay.
So July and the protest, they ran through, and that's stuff people can Google. Just Google Kurt Erickson, West Haven. You'll have Channel 8, NBC, Channel 3, Fox, everybody. They broke my spine, long story short. So I in that live video that I had there on the scene I took the bat, I stopped the car, the bat was a flagpole.
I think I remember this, to be honest. I think I remember this.
It was pretty big. They ended up putting in the paper that it cost $260,000 that day or something because they had like 9 departments. It was fucking ridiculous because there was a lot of protests. They had a lot. I've never seen that big of a cop presence ever. It was pretty large.
So tell me the story.
Yeah, so we stopped the car down at Valero after it ran through the people down there in West Haven on Sawmill there. And we stop it down at Valero, and she gets out. She's super confident with a group of people. Like, she wasn't scared. And I'm not there to kill her, or hurt her. I just want her arrested, for hitting 2 kids with a deadly weapon, And she starts getting on the phone talking to she had to have a title. Just because the blue line sticker, I don't automatically assume she could just be a supporter. But she definitely got on somebody that was on the scene or nearby because she's like, oh, they're right here, blah, 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 and all sorts of weird shit. And so the cops came there. There was one that was just sitting there watching the whole time. He moseyed on over. And we all start having words and then just, gave them time to arrive, of course. And then there was just a whole setup of protesters just talking to them and them trying to figure out what to do with the woman's car and her. And Officer Croce, the same one from that year ago in my front yard. He sees me and we're going at it on live. And he's like, oh, yeah, I remember you. I tased you last year. You cried like a bitch. I'm like, yeah. I was like, all right, well, add that shit to the suit. That's all the shit I'm talking. I'm just talking hot shit. And I'm going back and forth. It's a protest, and it's a crazy protest at that point. It's a crazy scene. Nobody's threatening. Nobody's doing that. He's just bumping his gums. I'm bumping my gums back. They go to get the woman in the vehicle and they're like escorting her to leave the scene. And I was pissed. Because first of all, it's evidence. And then second of all, you're going to allow her, she just hit people. You're going to allow her to get back. That's a horrible choice. But not my choice at the time. I can't make that. The cop's making that choice. And so we all stand up in front of the car and not letting it go. Hands up. We're like, hands up. We're all saying that. And then you'll see in the video, they start batoning some kid next to me, and I'm watching it. So I'm just filming. I back all the way down, I'm filming it, and then they blindsided me out of nowhere in the video. And my spine fractured. I didn't know it at that point. My adrenaline was going. Yeah, they fractured my L1. And I didn't know it yet. I go down, boom, and it's Croce. And Croce's fucking macing me in the face while I'm down already, right? And then I'm like, what the hell? My boy's on. There's a video from my boy, and he's like, why are you macing him? He's already down. He's like, oh, he's resistant. And then all of a sudden, but he did it nasty though, because he went down and like flipped my hat off because I had a mask and a hat on. He flipped my hat off so he can get my eyes directly, which I guess is smart. I mean, if I had to do that, you want to get the eyes, so I get it.
Course,
it seems malicious now at this point, looking back, you know. But it's smart. You don't want to fucking dud. You want to hit him where it's gonna work, you know.
Mm-hmm. And he clearly he didn't like you, bro. So he wants you to get the worst of the worst.
Yeah. Well, he vocalized. That's the point. He's an idiot. He vocalized it before, you know, before even doing it again, and then he's doing it, and then all of a sudden, I don't know where the hell. Like, it was my adrenaline. I start crawling up the crash bars on the cruiser in the video. You can see it, and I have a fractured spine because it comes out after. I'm fucking crawling up the cruiser with mace and fucking broken spine on 4 cops on me. And they grab me, rip me down, and then you see fucking Croce again, fucking point blank on my back after they're cuffing me. Boom, hit me with the taser again.
Jeez.
And then I get in the car, and they bring me to the hospital after the station, and everybody circled. I don't know if you remember that. They all circled the station and like had a huge. You couldn't get out of West Haven PD, and all the news was there, all that. And I was in the emergency room in Yale. And they made my bail from there, and they released me from there.
Okay. So now your back's all fucked up.
Fucked up. So there we go. So my back's all fucked up. I go back out with a cane. I'm with it. I'm out there with a cane, my back brace, and I'm drilling Perno. Every chance I get, I'm pulling up on Perno. I want to know what's the deal, you know? And I pulled up at his house.
Oh shit!
And we did some pamphleteering. So I've kind of cracked the code on First Amendment as far as pamphleteering, even though it's been there. But I cracked the code where we can get away with it, and which we should be able to the way I do it. You know, and what I do now is I print up pamphlets about the malfeasance of different people or predators. I also do predator poachers. I hunt down pedophiles. We go to their neighborhoods, just like the cops in Perno, what we did there. And I make a pamphlet up of all the misgivings and different things, and I pass them out to the neighbors. Okay. And they can't stand that shit. But it's protected speech. It's protected under. I looked up the case law at that time because I'm into that shit. So Watchtower versus Stratton is how I came to that case law was I was thinking, who else goes door to door, and I'm thinking, the Jehovah's, you know, and I know Watchtower owns them, so I'm looking up what's Jehovah Witness law, you know, case law. And Watchtower versus Stratton gave us all the rights, not just Jehovah's, but gave us all its Supreme Court case law. We can pamphleteer all we want. You can knock, talk, pass out pamphlets. As long as you're not soliciting, doing different things like that, it's totally legal.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
And most of the time, neighbors love to hear that. You know, I've honestly, 94% of the time, it's okay. You know, a neighbor wants to hear that, and they're excited, and they say thank you. But that's what I was doing at Perno's. Perno wigged out, and then we got another viral video there. I'll send you that after. I actually was supposed to send you that. I got a whole hour clip of it. But that ended up bringing more news coverage to them. You know, the newspaper put that out because they didn't arrest me there. They came there. Perno chased me around. This is where they ruined all their cases in West Haven, by the way. So Perno ruined his cases. That's why they can't go to trial. So he gets out the car. His truck pulls up to the scene. He starts chasing you around. Get the fuck out of here. And he's got his blue line mask upside down, though, because he's all disheveled. He looks like he rushed over there. You know, it's hilarious. And he's screaming at me. It's going to be fuck you, Kurt. It's going to be fuck you. I was like, oh, yeah? Was that retaliation? You know? And then he yells to me at one point, you don't have a First Amendment. That's a quote. I'm like, oh, boom. I knew it right there and then. I'm like, I look over at my guys, my team that was with me. I was like, yo, that's a great soundbite. I was like, yo, that just beat my case because now he can't go on a scene.
Well, that's not good. And this is the thing. As a cop, we talk about you got to control your emotions, no matter how.
All people.
Well, Chiefs, listen, Chiefs.
I know, we know.
Yeah. Don't get me started, please. Okay.
You know the word.
Don't get me started. All right.
You know what I find about that, Jay? I'm gonna be honest. You know what it is the that level that they're at, the ego.
Oh,
it
yeah.
makes them complacent.
Yeah.
So you can always win against somebody that's being complacent because so he's at such a level where he doesn't get challenged, you know.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
one fucking
yeah.
challenges Perno, the chief, you know, nobody does that.
Yeah.
But when someone does, he doesn't know how to react. Just
Yeah,
like
why do you think I got fucked with my whole career?
100%, yeah.
Because
No,
they're
I
used.
get it. It's
They're used to these cops being yes men, being scared of them. You know, like we've even had. I'll tell you a story. We had a chief. This guy was a clown. He was only there because mommy and daddy were powerful. You know, like he was never even a cop. He was like an attorney at some point or something. Anyways, he said to one supervisor one time that was similar to me, where like he wasn't, he wasn't scared of anybody. You know, like he just was himself. Like you're not going to intimidate me. So he said to the cop, he goes, you're not fearful of your chief, or you're not scared of your chief. And he goes, the only person I'm scared of is God, like right to his face. You know what I mean? And like that, but that's what they expect. They expect you to just bow down to them. You know, yes sir, and they get away with everything. And when they get a guy like me or a guy like Kurt or anybody, whether it's a citizen or it's me, if it's a cop especially, they really don't like that. They really don't.
bring more. Yeah, you're a sellout.
Yeah, well, yeah, they just look at it like, who the fuck are you? You know, like this hierarchy. And yes, there's a chain of command, but I always tell people, I don't care. Like, I'll be the best worker for you, man. I have my work ethic is beyond, and that's why they couldn't fire me because of that. But you treat me like a man, okay? At the end of the day, I'm a grown adult. I'm a man. I'm not a child. You don't talk to me like shit. You don't bully me. You don't treat me like garbage. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna make sure that you know that not to do that anymore, or at least that I'm not going to deal with it. And if I have to be a thorn in your side, I'll be a thorn in your side because that's all I can do until you stop. You know what I mean? And that's what I had to be, but they don't know when to stop because their ego is too out of control. You know, and that's what gets them in trouble a lot of times is they don't know when to stop. And like Kurt was saying, when you have a guy like that's poking them constantly, they're not used to that, bro. They're not used to it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's where I noticed at that point, honestly, that's when my activism really, like, I really got a stronghold, like a feeling in myself, you know, knowing that I'm on the right track, in my opinion. You know,
Yeah.
I'm figuring out how to dig them out, you know, and get at them. That scene was there's so many clips I have seen like that. Like I wasn't viral at the time, but I was on TikTok. I did a couple million views. But like on Facebook, I wasn't popping like that, and really wasn't getting out there. I can actually recycle a lot of stuff I have probably 2 terabytes worth of stuff, you know.
Shit.
And content, just police encounters and pedophiles and all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
Well,
how did you get to this point? How did you get to this point where you're doing all this stuff on Facebook like you do now?
It's funny. So that first that incident in West Haven, I'm old school. I'm OG. I'm an OG. Like streetwise, I don't fuck with broadcasting shit. That's how I was back then. You know, that's the mentality that I had. I'm not gonna. I'm not on social media. I ain't broadcasting shit. Like I shut the fuck up and do my thing, get my money, and take care of my family and avoid the police.
Yeah.
And that's how I was, you know, always thinking for years and years.
Yeah.
And I noticed, you know, prosecutors in Milford, I just want it quiet. I just want this. So I'm like, you know, it was striking a bell. I mean, I'm making the right kind of noise. It felt like, you know, I was like, you know, these guys don't want me quiet for nothing. How come how come my offer for assaults on police is no time in jail? You know, I'm like, I'm not copping out to that. Fuck out of here. You know, even clearly you don't got a case. You know, at that point on that July incident, that's my 3rd assault on police on West Haven alone. And I never assaulted any of them, you know?
So now with all those West Haven cases are still going on too, or no?
Still going on. There's like, if you look at them, there's like 11 or 8 separate dockets just for West Haven.
Well, yeah, let's get into this real quick. Let's talk about your cases because you have all these cases.
Throw the screenshot up. It's a lot of them.
You have all these. Well, we're not going to go over all of them, but we have all these cases that are compounded up, and 2 of them right here. I only have 2 that I see, but you're going to trial soon, right?
supposedly. Actually, it's
I
funny.
mean-
Hopefully they watch this. We were just discussing this today. My trial attorney. We're probably gonna file speedy trial Monday on them.
Yeah.
So we might have some motion on West Haven's case. I'm done with it.
Okay,
Done with it.
so I have a document that shows me that. I mean, it says here, this is a case that is, bro. You tell me about this case. You got caught with a gun?
Yeah.
Oh, Bridgeport?
Yeah, last year.
Oh, a gun.
That's what it says.
That's great.
It
Yeah,
says criminal possession of a
felon.
firearm. Yeah.
By a felon. That's a
So how-
that's a heavy charge.
Well, when
Oh,
I
yeah.
see this, I'm going to give you my mentality as a cop, okay? And what I see you doing out here
I'm
and stuff.
I'm gonna freak you out, Jake. Is this legal? You ready? It's called a Berna. They're totally illegal for felons.
Okay, what is it? I've never
It's a
seen
Berna. You never heard of Berna?
that. No.
Oh, I
no.
heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally illegal.
Ah, interesting. What is it? What are those? Oh, I get what. Oh,
They're rubber?
they're non-lethal. That's non-lethal.
Yeah.
Ah,
So
okay.
these ones are plastic. They got their kinetic shells, and
Yep.
then they got I got CS and I got pepper balls, and then you can also get steel, ceramic to go through windows, anything.
Interesting. Is that what you got caught with?
Yep.
Holy shit.
So would you buy another one?
The very next day, and I posted the video, and I put that song. This feels illegal, and they didn't do nothing.
That's
I got a
crazy.
shotgun. I got the Mission 4 version, the rifle with 2 20-round clips.
Now
I'm not
that's
afraid to say that because so here's the thing with that case. I've never put it out there yet, but I have what the heck do I have on that? I got the body cameras, of course.
yeah. Now let me see. Like this charge. So the charge says this: criminal possession of a firearm, ammo, or defense weapon. So they're probably looking at that as a defense weapon.
Yes,
Right?
but no. So they double charged it to cover themselves. So they covered me with illegal weapon by illegal weapon in a motor vehicle,
Yeah.
and they gave me possession of firearm by a felon. It doesn't meet firearm description by law, federal or state. The defense weapon thing is a problem because so under the defense weapon they actually list them. They have a list, and it's not on there. This is in paintball gun category. It's 61 caliber, 60 and 68 on the bigger ones.
You might have it. You might have something there, bro.
It's so it's paintball gun category, and it's unregistered, and it's air powered. It's CO2. Look here, you can see it. It's good for your viewers. Everybody should get these.
Well, that's interesting because I mean, obviously, we've stopped people that have it looks like it's a gun, but it's a BB gun. You know what I mean? Like
That's illegal, though. That's under law.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
But this
yeah.
isn't.
Well, yeah. That's interesting. I'm surprised. Eventually, they're going to probably have to start doing that.
It'll
Well,
be
they gotta so they got to
it'll be Kurt's
legislate.
fault.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
It'll be your fault, Kurt.
It's the Kurt defense gun law. I know. I already know.
Yeah,
it.
that's funny. That's funny.
So in Bridgeport, they didn't even entertain the gun charge.
No.
No. So I got on the body camera. The sergeant comes down to booking, and he's like, I'm like, he goes and puts on his body camera. I'm gonna put that body cam out soon after I file a motion. I got to file. But he puts the body camera on. You see me in the body camera. I was like, shit, this ain't good news. What are you telling me? Because at that point, it was just like a driving charge or something stupid. And I'm like, that's not good. What's going on? He's like, oh, they're trying to charge you with, they want me to charge you with possession of firearm by a felon. This is sergeant. And I'm like, oh, what do you mean? 53A 217? I got a tattoo on my arm for 30 years and almost, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's my old life. This is like my old life, And I was like, what do you mean 53A 217? I was like, that's definitely not a firearm. He's like, I know. And he says in the body camera, he's like, it's not a firearm. I don't believe it to be one either. I was like, he said, but they want me to charge you. This is like verbatim on the body camera. I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, who's they? He's like, oh, the gun safety task force and tracing task force. I'm like, yeah. I was like, can you at least help me out on the bond? And here's where you could tell it wasn't a big deal. He's like, yeah, I can help you out. So they gave me a $10,000 bond, which is super low, for a firearm on a felon. And with all my open cases, I was like, wow. I was like, I appreciate that,
Yeah.
I made that, and at court, they've never even entertained the gun charge. They only trying to get me. They have offered me no time in jail there also. And,
See. Now let's go back to something real quick.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will sit here and talk about a scenario like that where, listen, you have that cop, right? He's the arresting officer. He's the one who stopped you or whatever's going on is going to be the one charging you. He's going to be the one right.
That's Adam Salchi. I'm going to have him on the Brady list when I'm done with this case.
But this is my point here is
it was a targeted stop. His own body camera snitched on him on the computer. You can see the CAD.
But he sat here and said to you, this is like, obviously I'm not there. I don't know.
No, that wasn't him. That was the sergeant at booking.
That said that he wants you, they want us to charge you?
Yeah. Huh. It was the sergeant at booking.
But he's a sergeant, dude. You're a sergeant. You're a supervisor. And you have, I mean, unless it was a sergeant of that unit or a higher up of that unit telling him what to do.
To that position, by the way. He's a good cop.
Yeah. Interesting. Huh. Well, that's my point is, when do you sit there and say, hey, I don't want nothing to do with this really because this is not, it's not really a legal charge or it's whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Well, here's how I got pulled over for that. You ready for this? So I was on a live feed and I had a lot of viewers there. But this is last summer. I had like 12,000 people watching. I had viewed it when the live ended. I was helping a citizen file a police complaint at Bridgeport PD. By this time in the game last year, everything I have is wired up. My whole truck, I got 4 cameras on my truck. I have my own 4G line tied to it so it can broadcast it to wherever I got to put it.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so if my car cameras go off, it's recorded.
This kid's got all this. He's got all this stuff, but he doesn't have like a microphone and all this for a podcast.
I'm more worried about the attack from the police.
Shit! I got you, bro. I got you. That's funny.
But you're right. You're right. I'm gonna get on that. So the I'm filing that complaint for and I see it. I'm getting alerts from my truck and I parked it down the block downtown Bridgeport away from the police station. And I'm getting alerts and I see them. They're lurking around my truck. Swear to God, it's not. I mean, I got it all. And they're lurking around my truck. I'm like, whatever. That's fucking normal. It is what it is. That's what they do. And so we finish all that. She files her complaint on the harassment her son was getting or whatever. And I killed alive and I go down there and I see them. I see him here and there, so I'm sitting in my truck. I'm like, let me go get a drink. I sat there for another 30 minutes and I'm like, all right, let me pull up. So I pulled up. As soon as I hit one of the corners, of course, lights pull me right over. I'm like, oh shit. So I'm different now too, as far as traffic stops. So I drop all windows. I want to leave cops sense of no safety, so I could try to I'm trying to beat whatever the fuck I could beat when it happens. I don't want them yanking me unless they have to, and if they do, I'm gonna get the fuck out the car. I really got no choice right now.
Well, let me ask you this question. Because I see a million social media videos a day, obviously with policing, and you're somebody who's dealt with the police in the manner you have. If the cops start to, let's say the cops start to arrest you, the cops start to do something that you don't agree with, do you fight back or do you just let it happen and then fight it after?
We just talked
about this. Most of the time I fight it after now. There's very few situations where I would ever, I still would never advise anybody or give them advice to fucking just listen right now, handle it later. I agree with that because that's for most people. There's like unicorn chances where you can know for sure you're being violated, but that's a unicorn. Your best bet literally is comply, and that's what I do. I comply, to an extent, and I take it. I smile. We're cordial. We have fun. I don't mind it. I know I'm going to beat it in the end. It's all false now. Yeah, it's cool. But I get where people feel that way. Why can they pull me out? Well, they don't know. They don't know about Wilson. They don't know about Mims. They don't know about Terry.
Yeah.
They don't know all these things. And to a normal human being, you would feel like, why the fuck I got to get out if I'm innocent, and this and that.
Yeah.
It's because the safety is at that point in the, case law. That's where it's at. You got to get out.
Well, listen,
they feel like
you're right.
Yeah, there's unicorn situations that you can avoid that in the long run and fight it. But it's literally a unicorn. You really have to you got to have it right if you're going to resist there to beat it.
Well, and that's my point is like, listen, I'm sure you see my page now and stuff. And this is why I tell people, I just wrote a book, all right? I just released a book for citizens because we talk about this all the time. Think about it. You don't get taught this anywhere in your life, right? When you go through school, I started saying, I'm like, what I'm trying to do, honestly, is what I want to start getting the education system to start teaching this at like junior, senior year of high school.
Yeah, because so great.
Well, think about it, bro. You go through your whole high school education without learning about policing, without learning about how to act with the police, what the police are allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do, what you need to do, what you shouldn't do. What happens if you get arrested? How do you navigate through the court systems? Like things like this. They don't tell you shit. And to me, that's a big problem. And I think that's another big problem as to why like there's so much chaos in society, because I think that if the citizens were more educated, that they would understand, okay, like the cop can do this. Let me just keep my mouth shut. Once he starts doing something wrong, then I'll open my mouth, or then I'll whatever. Because a lot of times society gets themselves in trouble because they react based off the wrong mindset. And I see, and so this is a big problem with social media right now too, because there's a lot of pages out there, right? Anybody can create a social media page. And I've even seen attorneys doing this, that they're putting out the wrong information. Now, attorneys are putting out wrong information because they want you to go out there, get in trouble, because they make money off of that. Okay, so there's attorneys, believe it or not, that are doing that on Instagram and social media. Okay, but then there's a lot of cop-hating pages that are purposely like clipping the videos, editing a certain way so that it makes the cop look like he's doing something wrong, but he's not. And I know that he's not because I did this job. And somebody like you might know he's not because you educated yourself. But most of society has not educated themselves, and that's a big problem for a lot of people and why they get themselves in trouble. So no,
I'm on par with that. We really need an education of it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, listen, guys, go buy the book, please. All right, but for real, I mean that's why I created it, bro. I mean, listen, society needs that. What were you saying here?
I got a question for you, Kurt. So with all this stuff going on with West Haven, right? Are you still doing your garage door business?
That's the only reason I'm still alive.
So have you seen a decrease in customers because they may not like the way you conduct yourself with this?
That's a good question. Yeah.
I've actually, it's funny you say that. Maybe once or twice I've encountered that because I'm becoming more known.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Not nearly enough to impact me because I don't advertise. I don't need to advertise. I'm very fortunate. I have a customer base that's already there. I don't have to advertise. I don't got to put my work on Facebook. I don't got to do that.
So new clients really isn't a problem. That's where that would lie mostly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've shifted a lot of so I keep my own clientele, and then I got a couple outlets where I could sub, from people anytime I need to.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, that's interesting because that is how society is. Well, society is like that, right? Like look at everything going on with politics. If it's like, you imagine like years back, you go to your doctor and you like that doctor, he's a great doctor. And then now all of a sudden you find out that he likes Trump or he likes Biden or whoever. And now you fucking hate the guy. It's like that's what's going on in society. It's crazy.
Literally.
You know what I mean? Well, that's a good thing. I'm glad you brought up a little politics. So a lot of people also, all the, the cop side of people, used to attack me telling me, you're a Biden fan, this and that. Bro, I'm apolitical for a reason. I feel like anybody that's stuck on one certain spot, you're almost in the pocket, because you're going to roll with the team. I don't like that. Listen, I'm a girl dad. I believe right now where medical technology is at, I feel like, abortion should be a thing kind of right now. I don't agree with some of it in that aspect, but I also agree with it being a girl dad and where we're at medically, that's the choice that should be made, in my opinion. And then I also believe we should have guns, so what am I, Republican or Democrat? What the fuck am I? I'm not. I just have my own thought process and I don't hitch my wagon to nobody because
I think that's great.
All completely right.
I think that's great. And I'm right there with you, to be honest. Like, I have more conservative views, I would say, in certain aspects, probably in more aspects, but I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I stay in the middle. I kind of am anti-government to a certain extent. I'm not anti-government. I think we need structure, but I think that at the same time, I don't trust either side. I think they're all corrupted. They're all fucking everybody. But let's get back to policing because I could go on for days about that shit. No, you're good, bro. Let's get into this whole thing that's going on now. All right, you got your cases. We kind of got into like how you got this mindset, and I'm glad that we clarified like who you really are, and that you're not really this anti-cop, like hate all cops type guy, which is refreshing to a certain extent. At least for guys that are cops. So, but no, man, tell me what's going on now with you with this whole. I broke that story about you with the female Bridgeport officer right now, and the whole her making a fake account and harassing you and stuff like this. Let's get into this story because this is really what most people probably want to know at this point, and we're pretty deep into this, so we got to get into
When
this.
when are you dropping this? When is it going to drop before the 12th?
What's the date today? Yeah, before. Yeah, probably by the end of this week.
Cool.
I mean, unless you want me to hold it.
Aaron's going to watch this. Then Officer Perota will definitely see this.
All right.
Well, because I have the update on that is she's been officially served 2 days ago. Front desk at Bridgeport PD. The marshal walked right in and served her. She was sitting.
And that's with a protective order.
Civil protective order. Yep.
Now let me ask you this question because I've heard multiple different things, and if you could get into it, you get into it. If you can talk about it, you can't. You know, you say what you can. There's people that have. There's people that.
The truth is, I can say that anytime.
Well, I'm talking about in something that not regarding her, but there's other people that have protective orders against you, right? Like cops and stuff. Is that true?
So I have 7 officers with protective orders and 1 senator.
Really?
Yeah.
You against them or them against you?
Them against me.
Yeah. How does that work? I
didn't think cops could do that.
Yeah. I've never really seen that.
I'll send you. I got 190 pages for you. You want the email?
Fuck. Holy.
Yeah.
Literally, it's 190.
Tell me a little bit about
that. From that rapist senator, I had 3 different ones from him.
Really?
And mind you, I'm in violation of all of them right now, and they won't violate me. Why? Because I got the case law on violation of protective order. I got the case president in Bridgeport in my name on that same DCF case thing with the DCF worker picture.
Interesting.
So they're filing civil protective orders, and if you look at this, the language of the order at the end, words like you can't disparage somebody online, all these things that are unconstitutional. Clearly, you can't put that, and they're all public workers on top of it. They lose a certain amount of privacy. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
That is
employee.
true. Actually, you're not wrong because I dealt with that. Listen, when I went through all my shit, people posting about me, people talking about me, that is kind of true. I mean, when you are a public servant, I mean, unless you get to a point where you're like directly, I think you have to be like directly harassing them and threatening them, right?
Yeah. Listen, if I'm inboxing you, if I'm fucking sending different, that's a whole different ball game. That's harassment.
Yeah.
By statute. And somebody should be arrested for that. That's not okay. Why would I want to be terrorized in my inbox repeatedly and somebody coming? That's a crime, clearly. And it shouldn't happen. That's not how you should do it. If you
now all these guys though that you've had that have protective orders against you, all these cops, have you had incidents with all these guys?
So Officer Michael Van Growski of Bridgeport, he got arrested. He didn't get arrested, actually. Let me take that back. He was forcefully resigned out of Stratford in 2004 for having a 17-year-old girl because he was the SRO. He had a 17-year-old girl at his house up in Shelton, and he was the SRO in Stratford.
Yeah.
And he had a little girl at his house. DCF made the complaint, and they're not legitimate either, but they legitimatized it. And they said there was wrongdoing and stuff going on. So he was under investigation from Shelton PD at that time, and they forced his ass to resign. He resigned. Boom, he bounces down into Westport and Greenwich first, then like Westport, and then now he's in Bridgeport for like the last 8 years.
Jeez.
And they didn't even want him either at first. And they tried to can him. He sued him, and then it comes across my desk. He's one of the guys that has a protective order now, but comes across my desk, so we spotlight him. I run up on him in his cruiser. I don't know if you've seen that video. He drives away running like a bitch. I ran down him in the East End in Bridgeport, and then I went to his house because I go to houses. So I went to his house, and there's a video of me and his wife Katie and my partner laughing and joking. She's laughing at the shirt that we're wearing because we always make shirts. I put his face on the shirt. She's laughing at it in the video. She's like, "Oh, no fucking way." She's like, "I just found out about that. I'm divorcing him." I'm like, "Oh shit, good job." I congratulated her. I petted his dog and everything. And so they hate that shit. They were going door to door passing out the pamphlets. And then sure enough, a year later, she's divorced from him. So that's good.
Oh, damn.
But he got caught with a little girl. Like, that shit doesn't change. And so my thing is, they had him around schools in Bridgeport. Why the fuck is he around schools in Bridgeport? You know, and that's
Well,
the problem.
because technically there's no legality that he can't. That's
Yeah,
why.
no,
You know what I mean?
no, I know
But
the
I get
answer.
I
But
get what you're
the
saying. Yeah.
the moral answer is get the fuck out of here. You know, we're dads. We don't fuck with that shit. Get the
Well,
fuck out of
listen,
here.
I just put out a story about the cop in New Haven that was my classmate. He was a military guy and everything. He just got caught. He's going doing 5 years in jail now. He was an SRO and he was sleeping with a 16-year-old or something like that.
Yeah, that
He was
same
my
dude, that weirdo. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
he was my academy classmate, man. It's crazy, bro. And he actually
If you
he
hear from the street, like I mean, I'm close to the street with people, you know,
yeah.
so you hear from the street other stories of him being a weirdo out in public, you know,
I'll be
off
honest.
duty.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have heard that. Well, listen, like when we first got on the job, I told you he got fired actually from in the police academy by Yale. So and then New Haven picked him up. You know, and it's I don't know why they do stuff like that. If a cop gets fired in the police academy, you should probably just nobody should probably touch that dude.
Yeah.
exactly. Well, that's why when I find shit now, what I do is I take it a step further. I'm writing a letter to the post, you know, to the fucking post certification. I'm going for that. I'm not fucking around. I don't want you in Connecticut no more. Go to fuck, get the fuck out of it. Like
Well,
what the
that
fuck?
technically now, right? If you get fired, you get decertified. You said, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that's what they're supposed to be doing. Well, listen,
Yeah,
they did. There was a but they're not really. I don't know. They pick and choose what the fuck they do
it's
in that
selective
state.
enforcement. Yeah.
Of course, of course,
Mhm.
of course, bro.
Who knows
Um,
who?
all right, so protective orders against you by cops and shit. All right, now we're getting
Senators. The
now,
same thing with
yeah.
the senator. The same thing with that senator Gaston. He got arrested for custodial rape and battery out of Florida, and he got extradited by marshals and taken out of
What?
Yale up here. Yeah, he got
Don't get
taken
me
down.
started with these guys. I mean, look at Joe Ganim. Let me ask you a question. You're a felon.
Oh
Okay,
God!
now
Christ.
tell
Here
me.
we go.
Tell me this, and I always said this, how this makes no sense, right? If you're a cop, right, what you have to go through to get on the job, to get hired, like, maybe now they're a little bit more lenient and stuff, but back then it was like, bro, you had anything in your background, it was like so hard to get hired.
Done.
Yeah, so, but you have politicians who can literally go to jail, come out, be convicted felons, and then get elected back in?
Yeah.
How the fuck does that work?
I don't
But
know.
you can't vote if you're a felon, but you could be elected. How
Yeah.
the fuck does that work, dude?
Well, he can't have a gun, but he can control all the guns in the city.
Yeah, exactly. How?
Essentially. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, he could fire. And listen, an American fire a cop. Everybody knows that. You know, is it going to be just? Is it going to stand? No, but they can. You know, and
Yeah.
that's kind of a crazy
Hard
power
for-
to have. You know, in that situation.
that's wild, dude. That's wild. All right, yeah. So let's get into the Bridgeport thing. So tell me how this all goes down. Like, obviously, we know that there was that shooting. She had an anxiety attack. Which is, we talked about female cops and stuff. In my personal opinion, there's great female cops, but a lot of them, in my opinion, on the street are very far and few.
That's
There's
where you just hit it, is the street, because I feel like
Yeah.
there's great positions for females
There are.
in policing,
Yes.
but
Yes.
I feel like certain situations aren't optimal. You
Yeah.
know, scientifically and math and medically, it says that. You know,
Yeah.
like what the hell?
Yeah.
Like,
I agree. I don't get me wrong. Like I said, there are some good ones, but the majority of them, I think they have a chip on their shoulder. They know that, like, they're obviously men have it easier out here. Not easier, but we can handle things differently. With them,
one of your biggest fans is one of my very good friends for the last like 6 years.
Oh, yeah?
She's retired Westport cop.
okay,
Her husband's still working. You know, I'm not going to say where he's at, but he's moved recently. But he's, she's staying low because she has her First Amendment back now, and she's advocating online. You probably know her. It's Anastasia.
okay.
Stacy. Yeah, she's good people.
Yeah.
And
So when you tell me that she's one of your biggest fans, tell me about that, because, like
she's
you
one
said,
of your biggest fans.
oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, but she's cool with you, right?
She's definitely a fan of mine as well.
But that's what I mean. Like,
Interesting.
weren't you guys talking back and forth a little bit on my page? Was that?
Yeah,
was
yeah,
that
yeah.
what it was?
Yep.
But my question is do you know her?
No,
Oh, okay, okay.
only through online.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But
But-
we're more personal now. But
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
where
yeah.
I met her, was
No,
online.
but
Her following my work, and because when she retired, she was exploring her First Amendment finally, and
Gotcha.
she can speak on certain things and certain things she can't. And she's like on a fine line right now because her husband's still
Yeah.
a cop. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
try to respect that. So
Well,
that because
we talked about
retaliation
that.
does happen. You know that.
Yeah. Well, we talked about that, how PDs have a lot of rules. They don't allow you to talk about what's going on inside the PDs or this and that. And that's why, like, when I was going through a lot of the shit I was going through, it's tough, man. And you guys have to understand, I went through a long career of that. You know what I mean? I only worked there for, 13, 14 years, but at the same time, it started from day one. So imagine going to work every single day with a target on your back, getting fucking bullied by these chiefs, and every fucking year dealing with it until you leave, and not being able to fucking tell society the truth about what's going on. I had the media talking about me. I had fucking, yeah, it really is, because everybody has an opinion of you, but you're not allowed to tell your side. You know what I mean? And that's just fucked up, dude. It really is. And that's why, like, you got to be a
it's the most basic amendment. That's why it's so important. Is because just you be able to speak about it would alleviate so much shit out of you. Just being able to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, but what sucks is like these jobs and stuff, like we said, not even just policing. They're allowed to do that. They're allowed to like basically gag you because this is a profession. You know what I mean? And I don't really agree with that. I can
make you take a vaccine.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really agree with that. If you have a First Amendment right, it should be covered in all areas of life. All areas of life.
I agree.
But it's kind of that gray area there where, okay, employment, it's not really covered. I mean, I can understand if you're being extreme. They should have something where it's like, if you're being extreme and it's affecting your employer, then okay, but you should still have the right to say your opinion and the truth.
I feel like you hit on it at the end of that sentence, because even extreme, that's subjective. Subjective.
That's true. That's true.
And that'll be kind of hard to draw a line there. So you'd have to give all or nothing. But that last part of your sentence, if it's like detrimental to, I forget how you said that. If it's like there should be a line somewhere. Like if it's like subject, it should be subject matter versus
if it's affecting it's affecting the business, they're losing money, they're losing clients, then okay. It's going to be justified. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But if it's not, and it's nothing that's like extreme to the point where it's causing an effect like that, then it shouldn't be a problem, in my opinion. But
I agree. I'm pro First Amendment, bro. I would stand with any.
Well, listen, if you're a cop, you should be pro. If you're a cop, you should be too. I mean, if you're a cop, you should be respectful of the Constitution, the amendments, all these things, civil rights, all that stuff. So to sit here and say, that it doesn't pertain to certain aspects, it doesn't make sense to me. If you want to be a cop, you got to have respect for those things. And that's the biggest problem I think society has is they think that cops don't respect the Constitution, which we do. I mean, listen, that's why, listen, like I said, there are some bad cops out there. There's cops that are stupid. There's cops that don't know what the fuck they're doing, that don't know the law, just as much as society is the same. You know what I mean? So
there's shitty garage door guys out there.
Hey, there you go, bro. But you know what I tell people? I said, listen, where are we getting cops from? We're getting cops from society. So what do you think's going to happen? There's going to be bad ones. You know what I'm saying? It's just part of the game, man. Like, you know what I mean? You're picking from this world out here.
People are going to be people.
Yeah, bro. Exactly, man. So that's why I try to tell people when I sit here and I'm like, you think that they pick cops from like some different planet or something? Like, what the fuck?
They got a warehouse full of them.
Yeah, bro. Like, come on, man.
Listen, cops are totally normal. Trust me. They're fucking people.
Crazy, dude. But okay, so let's get into this whole thing. This Bridgeport female officer, she has a shooting. She's involved in that shooting. She has an anxiety attack. She takes the ambulance before the guy who shot, which causes a big response of opinion. And which obviously is something that you don't do as a cop, right? The victims should be in the ambulance before you.
You can wait it out.
I mean, even set aside being a cop, I mean, the human thing would be like, hey, this guy's bleeding out. Let's take him.
Yeah, right. So she gets pretty much bashed online for that. That was a big thing. And now,
sure, if you actually Google her name, Erin Perrotta, Perrotta, you can't find shit on her but article after 30 pages deep into Google are just articles about her taking the ambulance.
No, you're right, because I did Google her when I did that story, and that's all I found.
I had to find her address to serve her, and I was trying to look for all the beef I've had with her or whatever. I've never even looked her up because I don't give a fuck. She's the one stalking me. I don't give a fuck. I'm just reporting on her. You know, she's the one that took a liking to my shit or whatever.
Well, yeah, let's get into that because what I'm confused about is this: how did she like? Obviously, the story is that she created a fake, profile, started harassing you. But why did she choose you? Did you guys have a beef going on? Were you like making fun of her and stuff like that?
I was supporting. People view me as supporting that Joe Gritz situation, the First Amendment. I was supporting the First Amendment, not him. I don't even like the guy that much. You know, we're not even cordial enough to talk all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm very, very passionate about First Amendment, clearly. And I stood against that, and I guess I got on her radar with that. And I was getting this fake trolling accounts and different. We all got trolls. Trolls are that doesn't hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
You know what changed this aspect of it was this troll was very aggressive more than most, and they were very, I mean, not direct death threats per se, but with the amount of the comments about death, it adds up to that. You know, one can reasonably fear for their life in that situation.
Yeah.
Well, and that's
a lot of these trolls. A lot of these trolls end up going away after a day or two too. Like, was this a consistent one?
Yeah, so it was consistent, and Demetrius Tunxis was the name. And they were saying it's just real off the wall weird stuff, like you could tell it was just like psychologically crazy. Like Joe Gritz is gonna be railing you slowly yet beautifully. Like, I'm like, what the fuck kind of psychology are they thinking with you? You know, like, I can tell you, like, somebody even say, oh, you're going to go get fucked in jail. You know, that's about the extent of that kind of comment.
Yeah.
But, like, to say slowly yet beautifully is so weird. You know, it's just really psychologically weird, it felt like. And me and that person started going at it a little bit. And, you know, I know how to play it in the comment section. I'm a seasoned vet by now. You know, I don't I'm not going to threaten. I'm going to tell you I'm worried. Please don't do that. I'm going to tell you these are how I respond to comments like that.
Yeah.
And it went into defaming me about DCF, saying my kids, I never had a DCF case. You know, I had a DCF criminal case against their face. No personal DCF case against my parenting, you know? And different things like that. And then making fun of my 14-year-old daughter, which was really concerning, you know, calling her obese and fat. My daughter's not fat, you know? And that doesn't matter. It's just feelings being hurt. But, you know, my daughter got wind of that, you know? And that's not good. You know, it's not good, period. But we don't know it's a cop, so it really wasn't real. You get what I mean? There was nothing, there was no validity behind it. It was still just a troll, maybe an extra aggressive troll per se, but whatever. And then we're searching the links that she's posting, because she also goes on like local other trolls pages and like like, I forget the word, but I'm lost for the word, but she'll have a camaraderie with other trolls, you know, and like troll together. You know, and she was going after, she really didn't like Joe Gritz because he was, you know, directly related to her situation with that ticket handle. And his speech was about Daishan Best, the guy that died. And I go on to like one of the other local pages, and we see a link that she posted from YouTube, that pseudonym profile, the fake profile. And you take that link and you copy it and you put it into like Google search, and it brings you to, you know, YouTube. It's a YouTube link. But it says sent by Erin Perota. So apparently she was sending it from her personal, you know, she had the YouTube open on her personal and copied it and pasted it and saved it. And, you know,
was that, so let me ask you this. When you did that, is that something that was in your mindset? Like, hey, I know, like, how did you know to do that? Like, take the link, put it in there. Did you know that would happen? You'd be able to, were you trying to investigate who this was?
Not at all. Not really. So I kind of, but kind of not. I wasn't like that deep on it yet. We just did it, and came up to her name, which is really weird. And that is a common thing. And when it happened to me there, I was like, shit, this has happened before. I remember copying links, and it said sent by whatever on YouTube. You just click out of it real quick and you just watch it, you know. But that's a signature. That's like a, you know, that's a data signature, and that's why that's doing that. And could it all be somebody's fake profile naming themselves Erin Perota to make this? Well, we're going to find out at court. But I legitimately, that's why I made an affidavit. I legitimately believe it. You know, I'm not going to, you know, and I'm going to take my precautions. If it turns out not to be her, that would be fucking amazing. I would love that. It wasn't her. Honestly,
Well, I guess on your end, what people do have to understand is listen, like now this is where I think the question lies. You're getting trolled by people, but then you're trolling people too, no? I mean, isn't that essentially what you're doing?
I'm a different type of troll. Yeah, I legally do it.
Yeah. Okay. So you're not like sending death threats. You're not
never nothing remotely close to that. Absolutely not. I stay away from that because there's no sense. What the fuck's a death threat online?
You're not hiding from another name with another name either.
Yeah. Let me show.
I'm standing on my name.
Let me show your Facebook real quick so people can understand of what I'm saying here. Move this a little here.
Be careful the windows you're clicking there, Jay.
Yeah, you never know what I got on this fucking thing, bro.
I'll have a whole post up tomorrow. No, stop.
I want to get back. All right, let me just click here. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, is this guy? Who is this guy?
All right. How can I help you here?
Oh my God, that's one of my protective orders right now. That's a civil protective order. So he's calling me. That's a detective from Bridgeport. He's calling me over me violating an order that I was never served with, the civil protective order for that rapist senator. And I was never served, and keep in mind, all these protective orders were unserved by these cops, and they're approving them without a hearing, without me being at a hearing.
Really?
Without serving them.
Really?
It's kind of weird. So that's in this video, I'm telling him that I was never served, and so on and so forth. And then,
bro,
look,
I'm not gonna lie, these are kind of funny.
Yeah, they are. I kind of do comedy with it.
Oh,
that's
damn.
Karen Perota when she goes to Niantic when she gets arrested.
Not a bad looking chick.
No, she's pretty cute.
Yeah,
listen,
I wonder what's going on in that
department. Like that, but I would definitely slide her some salami.
Who's this fucking guy?
You might want it. Oh, that's the New Milford police chief. His son was a marshal, and he just got arrested for rape.
Oh, shit.
And he's been hiding it the whole time, taking it off all the pages up there, telling people rumors that it's just a rumor, it's not true, and then I broke it.
Oh, and he got locked up.
Wow.
Their son got arrested. Yeah, the son was a judicial marshal.
How did he get caught? How did he get caught?
Thank God for the cyber squads.
Really? Yeah, those things.
Exploited children, whatever the hell that is. They come.
Yeah. Really? What was he doing? Like texting something, like trying to meet up with one?
No, it was really actually. It's actually really gruesome. No, he was doing it.
Oh wow.
Real gruesome shit. He had 2 8-year-old girls on a video in a bed, and they describe it in the warrant. It's disgusting.
Oh my God, dude. So that
he had child porn material and all that.
Now let me ask you this. I guess they can't prove that the dad knew, right?
What? No, they can't. But I have inside information on that. Actually, I haven't released it, but there's he knows, and I might have the proof of it. So
really interesting. So this is the stuff. Oh, here's my classmate right here. Oh damn, bro. These are kind of funny, not gonna lie. But I mean, listen, I get it, bro. Like this is the thing.
Go down a little bit. What's funny? Go to the East Haven one. This is what you won't like, probably.
Where is it? Let me see. All right, where is it?
When I tell them I'm gonna fuck their wife.
I've seen stuff where you say that stuff. Yeah. That's something that would probably piss me off. Yeah, if I was a cop.
I was pissed at him though because he neglected. There was a child neglect case going on that I called on, and he didn't do nothing about it. And I was like, all right, well, when that kid dies, I was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna fuck your wife.
Oh shit. Well, listen. Come on,
you got trying to get a rise out of the cop.
Yeah, I get it. But let me ask you this question though, okay? Because I get where you're coming from. You're trying to get a rise out of him and stuff. But do you think that's crossing the line to the point where some people are going to look at you as like, hey, bro, come on, man. Like this stuff is whatever, but that stuff is a little bit too you know what I mean?
Touche. I mean, you're right. I believe your statement there. I agree with half of it. Yeah. I don't agree that it's crossing the line. Okay. I just agree that people are going to look at it negatively for sure.
Yeah.
To play devil's advocate, what if I said that about your kid? You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to feel?
Well, that's where we're at right here, right?
I'm going to be upset 100%.
Yeah. But he knows that. But he knows that because that's why he's doing it. He literally just said that. He wants to get a rise out of him. So he knows that it would make him upset, so he wants to make you upset. That's what he was doing, you know?
Make him come out of his character, and then he's going to start violating my rights, and then I'm going to have a field day with him.
Oh, God. Are you a baiter, bro? Are you a baiter?
No, not at all.
All right, I'll give you that one.
There's a reason for it. And I mean, that situation had me hot because, so that specific situation, I came home, right? And there was a little 4-year-old boy, he was 3 or 4, and he's opening the front door. I lived in the basement of this house, and he lived in the upstairs. And he opened the door. I'm sitting out here with my employee. I had a witness. Like, I had a guy. We worked like 14 hours that day. And we're sitting in the truck, like wrapping up our day. And I see this kid coming to the porch, open the door, and he's yelling, "Mom!" Right? He's yelling, "Mom!" This and that. And I'm like, "What the heck?" And then I'm like, I ignored it, because kids fucking open the door sometimes, And then we're sitting there. He comes out 2 more times. And I'm like, I told the guy, I felt weird about this. Is this kid fucking alone? At 4 years old, he's fucking tiny, and I know the kid's young because he's my neighbor. And I go up to the door and I knock and I recorded a call. I called 911 first.
Yeah.
And we called 911 first, and they said, they're like, "Yeah, why don't you go knock?" So I'm like, "Cool, I'll do it while you're on the phone." And I went and knocked, and the kid is like, "Yeah, my mom's at work. She's usually home by now. I'm really scared." And that fucking crushed me inside, I'm like, what the fuck, And I'm like, you guys got, and they were trying not to send nobody. I'm like, you guys got to send somebody. He just said you just heard this. Like, what the hell is going on? And I've been out here an hour. So he's been here alone for a long time, and that's not safe. Especially if he's opening the door, going to public, somebody could snatch that kid.
Yeah.
And the cops came there, and because of who I was, they already knew who I was. And they didn't do their job. And the mom shows up while the cops are there. And
the mom should have been locked up.
No, she should have been in trouble.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, she should have been locked up. DCF should have been called. Yeah.
And they literally didn't do it because I mean, can I prove it? I can prove that I've had interactions with that cop before. So I mean, it was because of that. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. He used his discretion, and that's what you see in that video when I say I'm gonna fuck your wife. I was like, nice job using your fucking discretion for child abuse. Child neglect. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna fuck your wife.
So this is what I was kind of wondering too when I was looking at your stuff, like, and then why I asked, like, with those protective orders, if these cops, you all had interactions. Basically, the cops that you come at, you're not just picking random cops unless they're doing bad things, which is kind of, I mean, listen, I'm not gonna say but me, I expose bad cops. I expose cops that are out there. What I do is this. I don't have ill will towards anybody. I just put out the news. I put out what's going on. I'm not, what we do is different than what you're doing in a certain extent. You're doing more investigating. I'm not investigating stuff. I'm just putting stories out that are already out there. You know what I'm saying? And what I do is I try to give people the perspective from a cop. So it's a little different from what you're doing. You're doing more digging. You're actually trying to, like, figure stuff out. And you're also putting stuff out there that's already out there, but you're also trying to prevent, bad shit or trying to find out if bad shit's happening, stuff like that, right?
My mission is noble.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, what is your mission?
My mission, that's a good court. My mission is to expose as much as possible and then enact change that way. And there's ways it can seem fruitless a lot of times, and that's by design, as far as just the same situation as what we were discussing earlier, the design of breaking you down and grinding you down. I'm really seeing movement in certain aspects the last year of the way I'm doing things, like you're saying, a little more in depth and this and that. If you follow that paperwork, I believe we can make a change. And my mission is just to, keep them on their toes and make them think twice, maybe not do it anymore eventually, or Kurt's going to come to your fucking house. Yeah. Kurt's going to be at your door. I'm going to be at your fucking neighbors. I'm going to be cordial. I'm not going to be violent. And you're going to fucking hate me for life and continue to stalk me the rest of my career on Facebook.
Are you doing 3-fold pamphlets or double fold?
No, but it's funny that you say that. I actually spend extra money on the pamphlets because I get full color and I also get high gloss. I get high gloss.
Fuck yeah, bro, do it right.
When I went to Michael Van Grosky's house in Shelton, the cop, when we were hanging out with his wife, the cops that showed up from Shelton, I handed him one, of course, when he first pulled up, and he's like, this is great paper. And I was like, it's exactly what I'm looking for. That's exactly
Yo,
what
isn't
I'm
that
going
funny
for.
though? That's good, bro. That's good, man. Listen, and listen. This is what I want cops out here to understand. We're all laughing and joking here, okay? Because I understand this is Kurt's probably a pain in the ass to some of you guys, okay?
It's controversial for them.
I'm not sitting here condoning what he's doing. I'm not sitting here saying like, oh yeah, go fuck those cops. No, that's not what we're saying. We're laughing and joking because at the end of the day, yes, it's a pain in the ass, but this job is a pain in the ass. You're going to deal with stuff like this. It's part of the game. You know what I mean? And obviously,
I
you want
got
to go
something
out.
for you.
What's that?
You were talking about the other day about DUIs, checkpoints,
Uh huh.
and I got a sign that I used to go in New Haven with when New Haven, your department. Here, I'll show you. Hold on.
I love this shit.
So in New Haven specifically, I'd stand in front of their DUI checkpoint.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I would laugh, to be honest. I would actually be like,
but you want to hear the beauty, the actual beauty out of that at the end of it? What was actually beautiful was I was actually helping. So everybody's throwing their
yeah,
seatbelts
bro.
on before they got there. So we're like,
I wouldn't have cared. I would have been like, bro, I'm on overtime, to be honest, if I'm doing that. And I don't even want to do DUIs. I hate DUIs. So I'd be like, yes, the less DUIs, the better, please.
But things like that. It's just, that's more activism, and it is funny. But you know what it does? It draws in eyes. It brings awareness.
Yeah,
It does.
Yeah.
There's value. There's intrinsic value out of it.
Yeah, no, that's
And
funny.
you're not going to see that immediate value. You won't.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen. There's times where you gotta laugh in this job, and like I get it. If Kurt's really fucking breaking them on you, it's probably a pain in the ass, and I'm sure you get pissed at him at times and stuff. And but it's part of the gig, man. It's part of the job. You're gonna have guys like this, and it's if you haven't dealt with stuff like this, it's harder to understand why I'm saying this. I say this because, like I said, I was one of the most scrutinized fucking New Haven cops of all time. Okay, I've had everybody have an opinion about me. So, but if you want to be a good cop, you have to be able to fucking deal with it, dude. You just have to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? It's part of the game. But guess what? Now I'm not a cop anymore, and I can say whatever the fuck I want, and I can tell you guys to go fuck yourselves. I can tell you who's the fucking asshole, who's not. You know what I mean?
Welcome back to America.
For real,
Jay,
bro.
you're gonna hold up the sign. Okay,
I might
cops.
go hold up. I might do that actually one day, maybe.
I ruined my relationship with Kevin from Aussie Media for a long time. We recently repatched it.
Oh yeah.
But he really didn't like it. So, and you probably don't like it either. But what I did at one point when that New Haven cop died in Vegas,
yeah.
What really rubbed me the wrong way was the GoFundMe's and all the pictures they were sharing out here from the family. The family was sharing it, and the problem I was having is they're all showing pictures of him with beers, and he died out there and being drunk, driving the Rolls Royce or whatever they were doing with whatever the fuck they were doing. Who cares if they had hookers or whatever? They were speeding and drinking and driving. It is what it is. People do that. It happens. The other guy's dealing with whatever time he got, the other New Haven cop. But I went out to the funeral, and that's what really bothered Kevin, and I still kind of rubs me a little bit. It doesn't rub me bad either. I don't feel bad about it. I at one point I almost did, but I didn't because I wasn't ruining the funeral. What I was doing was asking the objective questions, and I was being media there. And is it insensitive? I can see how it can be, 100%. I can see how people can view that. Yeah. I wasn't clowning the dead guy, but I was saying, hey, is this all necessary for an off-duty death, from their own doing from drinking? Do you think it's smart?
I get where you're saying from. I get where you're saying.
Throwing him with beers, come on.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from because if it's in the line of duty death, you probably wouldn't have been there, right?
Wouldn't have been there.
Okay, so I get what you're saying, but at the same time, that's pretty disrespectful. I mean, it is.
No, I feel that because it is in general.
Yeah. But listen, this is your personality, and to be honest, people listen. I'm gonna be straight real here, okay? people are gonna love you or they're gonna hate you. That's part of having a personality like that. And it's similar to me. I mean, there's people who watch the show who probably fucking hate me, but they still watch the show. There's people who I said this to Ant. I said, listen, I go, there's people that are gonna hate the fact that we're bringing him on, Kurt.
And they
But
do.
they're still gonna watch the fucking show. You know why? Because they want to know just as much as anybody else wants to know what the fuck's going on in this guy's head. You know what I'm saying? It's as simple as that.
Can you give me literally 10 seconds? I got to run down and open the door for somebody.
Go ahead, bro. Yeah, go ahead.
Appreciate you.
Gosh. So that's just how it goes, guys. Like listen. We talked about this in the past. We're gonna bring everybody on here, and there's things. One thing I will say this: this conversation is very, very good. You know what I'm saying? Like Kurt is actually a guy who can take criticism. He can sit there and admit like that he's done some things that he's not too happy about and stuff. But he is passionate about something as well, and you have to respect that in a certain manner. If he's passionate about his First Amendment rights and where this country is going and things like that, I am also that way. I'm that way when it comes to politics. That's why I don't talk about politics on here, because it's about policing. But in the past, when I was a cop, I was exposing a lot in 2020 about politics, and that's what the media started fucking really like trying to destroy me because of that. So I'm similar, and what I was saying, Kurt, is people are gonna watch this, and they're gonna have all their own opinions on who this guy is. But what I said was this: after getting to kind of know you on this show a little bit more, you're a guy who you could take criticism, which I think is mature in a manner. Okay, so you're, like we said, if we look at your Instagram and we look at your Facebook and the things you're doing, some people might think you're just this crazy cop hating like nut job. But when you can sit down and talk like this, what I gathered from this conversation is you're passionate about your rights. You're passionate about everybody's rights. You're passionate about where this country is going. You're passionate about wanting change for the better for everybody in reality, is what I'm trying to get at, or what I think I'm getting at here is you're not an anti-cop person. You do believe that there are good cops. You do think people should comply and things like this, which is all respectable. If you're a cop watching this, you have to respect that to a certain extent, right? Because there's a lot of people out there that hate cops so much that they will literally sit here. I can't even have a conversation with them.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's
Listen, when I came into activism, that's the pool that I had to join. So, and that pool at that point is ACAB. You know how that is. It's fuck every cop. Every cop's a bastard. It's not true.
Yeah.
I can get the stance because it's a hard line you want to take, and we're never gonna get nowhere with two hard lines. We gotta come together at some point. The word comply kind of still gets me when you say it. Almost gives me the hicks. Yeah, you need to comply to the law. To the letter of the law, comply. And like I said, there's unicorn situations, but for the most part, you're better off to do, a legal standpoint. And I hate it that you got to deal with it in court because it should be done before. But the thing is, you can get that done. You can come back and get at that cop if he's wrong. There's ways, and it's not easy. They make it not easy, but it can happen, and you got to stick with it and stay steadfast, and you'll be victorious. Because at the end of the day, facts are facts, and truth is truth, and you can't. Once you get on a stand, once you're testifying, once you're you're doing different things, that doesn't come back. That doesn't go back. That's facts.
Yeah. Well, you're right, because I said, listen, my battle with the police department and the things that I had to go through is similar to your battle with the police department and the court systems and things like that, where I feel like if you give up, if you know you're right, then you fight, right? And that's my view on everything. When I know I'm right, man, I don't fucking give up. You are not beating me. And even if I lose, I'm still gonna fucking. Dude. Exactly. That's exactly how I am, bro. And that's why. That's why I tell people let me tell you something. Not many cops survive what I had to go through in that police department. They either leave, they resign, they get pushed out, they quit. They get fired. Not many could endure that shit. And then add in, the media writing about you, your face plastered everywhere, everybody having an opinion about you, and not being able to tell the truth.
You can't say nothing. I feel like shit for your situation. That was suck.
Yeah, bro, that shit was fucking hard, man, and that created a lot of havoc in my life, my personal life. Imagine being stressed. The stress. I tell people the stress of the street, bro, doing the job was nothing, and maybe that's why I look back kinda and I say, holy shit, like maybe all that shit that I was dealing with in the PD made me a good cop, because all of the stress of the street was nothing, bro.
Nothing.
You want to talk about stress? Dealing with fucking powerful fucking pieces of shit like police chiefs and politicians that are trying to destroy your life. That's a lot harder than fucking going out there and dealing with some fucking guy who's just, having a bad day or whatever the fucking situation is. Even really bad dudes, So that stress was different, man. But listen, guys, this was a great episode.
I know we gotta cut it, but we'll finish. I want to finish with Aaron real quick.
Go ahead.
So I after I connected that link, I did what I had to do as a father, and I filed for. I know I can't go to BPD. I've already experienced this. You can't. Yeah. I can't even go to Troop G. I almost got a conflict with both of them. I beat the shit out of them in GA2 already. Both of them, and they've tried to try my First Amendment for a couple of years now. And so I went directly to Joseph Carradino, the state's attorney, the head law enforcement official in Fairfield County, and I filed a notarized complaint and request for a criminal investigation on that, because I think that alone may not be enough, but it's some probable cause to get you to where we got to get the information, and it's a good start. So I supplied everything to him, and he ordered a criminal investigation from BPD, and he also ordered an investigation with his own investigator on the Joe Gritz situation, because it's kind of tied in, because Aaron Perota was on the witness list at his trial, and she was there.
Could that cause a? Probably not, but I was going to wonder if that could cause a mistrial.
She was going at him as well, and the problem was it wasn't after the trial; it was during and before.
Well, this is what I wonder. That's going to be a gray area there, where can his attorney sit here and say, well, the way he was acting was fueled by her, you know what I mean?
I didn't even think of that. You see what I'm saying? That's what the attorneys think. I didn't even think of that aspect at all until right now. Because it could mean it definitely has. So here's my thing: is it could have an impact on that case because they dropped her as a witness the day before trial started.
Yeah,
I wouldn't if I was on the defense. I wouldn't have allowed that if I knew that information. New information. I wouldn't allow her. No, I'm going to get her on the stand. I'm going to fucking fry her, because I'm going to let the jury try to decide on that. And that's new evidence. That's a new trial. In my opinion.
That's very interesting. Very interesting.
It's interesting stuff. So, like I said, what I did is
well, it'd be not to cut you off real quick. It'd be interesting, because you said that you and Joe Gritz kind of like you're cool, but you're not cool. Honestly, bro, imagine if this is the outcome. Imagine if you expose her, it is true, and then you go to him and his attorney, you're like, hey, bro, I'm going to get you the fuck out of here. And
when he got convicted, I put up a sizable amount of money for his bail, even though I don't know the guy.
Oh, nice.
Because I just believe in the First Amendment, and we made sure we got him a trial attorney, a good appellate attorney. Alex Tobbs is good at appellate work.
Yeah.
So we brought him in, and he was gracious enough to get in there too. He also helped with bail too.
Well, that's kind of interesting, because I think some people wouldn't think that. This is another aspect of him that we're kind of seeing is he's not just a guy that's like, hey, a loudmouth. He's actually like, how many people are actually going and paying their own money for some guy that they don't even know? That is kind of activism. As much as you might not like what he's doing, not many people actually put their do shit like that. Because that's real action.
If you ask the internet, I'm jobless. I'm a Biden fan, and I'm just a scumbag.
That's what I mean, and that's why I'm saying like this is good that we do stuff like this and why we do it. And like you were talking earlier, how you want to bridge. You're trying to make change and like not have too hard lines. That's kind of what we're trying to do too. Is bridge that gap between police and society and have people understand more. You know what I mean? Because I think when you can understand more,
right is right and wrong is wrong. We should all have that moral compass in us somewhere.
Yeah. Bro, you know what's interesting? It's kind of, that's how I live my life. And I tell people all the time, like my moral How I live my life is this. My mantra is basically go be whoever you want to be, go do whatever you want to do. Just don't have any victims to your life. There shouldn't be people that are hurting because of you. You shouldn't be like, there should be no victims. Do whatever you need to
100%.
do, but don't hurt
100%.
people. Don't be out there fucking people over and shit,
Where,
But
where's Ant? They're about to say, where's Ant at? He don't talk a lot.
yeah, we're trying to get him out there, boy. We're trying to get out
He
there, boy.
must. Is he really? He must be a cop. No.
Yeah, but you know what's funny is Ant's. I'm just my personality. I've done this before, so we talked about this, me and Ant, where he's still getting into his mode of the podcast. Where I've had a podcast before, actually. When I was a cop, I had a podcast, and it wasn't about policing. It was just getting to know people. Because when I was out there on the job, I met people that were awesome. Like their stories are the best things about people is their stories in life. So I would talk to everybody, and then I started a podcast doing that. So I already kind of knew how to do this stuff. I know how to talk and keep it going and keep it moving. Ant's he's getting better, man. He's gonna get there. He'll get
I'm
there.
better
Bro.
in person.
Yeah, he'll get there, bro.
Well, I go to Florida a lot now, so.
Do you, bro? Okay, whereabouts?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
I went to Miami and the Bahamas in March, and last year for my 40th, I went to Key West.
Okay. Yeah, if you're ever down here, bro, hit me up because this is now my hometown.
Are you near Miami?
I live in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, I've been there. I like Miami though. You know what I do is I'm really bougie when I go down there. I go down to,
well, that's where the bougie place is. Yeah.
Well, I stay in the Fountain Blue.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Listen, Miami's. You know what it is I used to love going to Miami when I was younger and stuff, and now you know how it works down here is this. It's gotten so built up down here that Miami is crazy right now because Miami's so hectic. It's all money. It's all fake. It's all these streamers and social media people. It's crazy down there. So a lot of people are leaving Miami that don't want to deal with that. They're coming up to Fort Lauderdale because Fort Lauderdale is more of there. You still have like that party lifestyle if you want it, but it's also more of that beachy vibe, more of like that paradise style of Florida where. Down there, it's just like party fucking mayhem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, mayhem.
Wow,
there's no secret in Miami.
When I first got down here, I was doing security for like rappers and shit, bro, in Miami. It was nuts. I would be out at like strip clubs till like fucking 7, 8 in the morning with I did security for like Quavo, like Migos, like those types of people. You're out all fucking night. And I was like, dude, I don't want to do this shit no more. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm not built for that shit. I'm 40 now.
Nah, well, for me, I tell people like I worked overnights all the time. Like when I was a cop, I worked around the clock. I like to be home now. Like everybody thinks I'm a man. I look like a maniac, but I'm like the most like chill dude. I don't like society. I like keep to myself. I'm on a strict routine. I'm home every night. I'm in bed by like this is past my bedtime. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like this is just how I am because
I'm ready to go to bed. My girl just came over. I'm ready to go to bed.
Yeah, for real, bro. That's how I am now, man. I'm like an old dude inside, but that's what happens when you live a crazy life prior, and you're the same way, bro. Just the opposite side. You live the opposite one. You know what I'm saying? But no, man, this was great, dude. Listen, I'm
October 12th, though. August 12th. The big hearing, me and Aaron Perota, she got served.
hit me up and let me know what happens with that because I'll put a little story out there if it ends up getting approved. That's an interesting story because they're gonna. Well, I wonder what happened now because when they serve her, they have to take her off the street.
They got to take her off the street. Is her lawyer's going to even let her answer because she might have to plead the fifth as a criminal investigation?
Probably not. Probably not. I mean, they're probably not going to. Yeah,
and you know what? Jay, you know what's going to happen if she pleads the fifth? You know what I'm going to motion for right away?
What?
Adverse inference, because so under Connecticut civil procedure, if they're pleading the fifth, I can ask the court to accept an adverse inference. So mean in my way, you know, has to go my way.
Well, that's my thing is they're probably going to give it to you anyways, in my opinion, because there is a criminal investigation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's almost a little bit of proof there that there's something going on if they approved that. You know what I'm saying?
Either way, whatever way it goes is, you know, I told somebody, my trial attorney told me today that he doesn't think that'll happen, but I think the best advice to give her as her attorney would be don't show up. It's civil court. You know, let it get approved without showing up so you don't have to testify for nothing. Like that would be stupid to say anything, honestly.
Well, that's if that would be the best case scenario if you know that you're definitely gonna fucking lose. You know what I mean? Why even show? Why go there and say anything, or just go there and don't?
I wouldn't personally show up in her position. Like I wouldn't.
It depends. It depends. I don't know. I almost want to say like I would. What I would do is probably show up, but just not say shit. I tell my attorney, you fucking handle it. I'm not saying nothing. You know what I mean? That's what I would do. But I would be there just because it looks respectful to the court. And that's something.
Yeah,
you know?
she'll have a bad light on her right away for not showing up being a cop. You know,
Yeah. I just wonder if they took her off the street and took her gun because whenever there's a protective order against you, they take your gun.
They didn't. So they didn't issue the ex parte yet immediately. So she still has her gun, but she's already on desk duty from a second incident after the shooting.
Yeah, I saw something about that, but they won't say what it is.
I know what it is. I'm gonna bring it out. I'm gonna bring it out on the 12th. If they don't want to mention it, I'm gonna bring it out in court.
All right. Well, we'll get back to you.
Why are you on desk duty? Why are you at the front desk? You know, after I prep her when she gets in the stand, I'm a whole different monster. I got a 60 question line of questioning already ready, and it's just gonna change as it gets closer to the gate.
Well, I always wondered why departments are allowed to not tell you why an officer is being investigated. Typically, I've never seen that really. Every once in a while, but usually it's like FOIable.
It's got to be something to do with the way they
Bridgeport's
don't want
very
it out.
specific with this, and that's why they need to be careful because this is not just one thing. There's multiple things that keep happening, and they might do what you were talking about in one of your videos I seen the other day. I feel like, I mean, even though it's a gargantuan task at Bridgeport because of the size of the department, but they might do an East Haven there eventually. And the Department of Justice might come in and take over.
Well, actually, there is a big investigation because it wasn't the chief involved in some corruption there with the mayor or some shit going on.
All sorts of. There's so much shit going on, and Bridgeport's a shithole for real when it comes to that. And at one point, the tentacles aren't going to reach far enough, and the feds are going to come in. I mean, it's just going to happen. It's just it's just too many things.
That'll be wild. I haven't seen that really happen like in a long time, to be honest.
But think about that. I mean, taking over East Haven's easy. Imagine trying to take over an apartment like Bridgeport.
Oh God. I mean, I think the feds did that to New Haven when the whole Billy White thing was going on. They took it over.
Yeah, they did it to Billy White. The Billy White time.
Yeah. That shit's wild when that shit happens.
Imagine the task, though. That's a huge task to take over.
It's massive. It's massive, bro. Because now you're under their control. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole change of everything, really.
Oh yeah, there's no decision making until it goes through their new board and all that shit. It's so different. Yeah, but what they were doing in East Haven was real disgusting. They were shaking on those business owners and shit. It was fucking weird.
Yeah, I made a video about that chief. I can't stand that dude, bro. To be honest with you, he's a clown.
Fuck him. I agreed with that one.
Yeah, he's a clown. All right, guys, listen. This was great. Great conversation. This is what we do. Yeah, man. No, listen. I'm glad that you came on. I'm glad that you were open to it because, like I said, some people they hate cops so much they don't, they just have no respect. They can't have any conversations. But no, I like the fact that you were able to do that, and I appreciate it, my man. I just
want to reiterate too that's a burner and it's legal in 50 states.
Shit, I'm sure a lot of people are gonna go look it up now and probably get their own and shit. No, listen.
They're pretty awesome, and it's a good thing to have. If you don't want to have a firearm, it's not going to beat a gun. It won't beat a gun. I guarantee it. But
it'll scare people.
It's going to give you some time, and if you can pull quicker, you might have a lot more time.
You know what's going to happen now? You're probably going to get a lot of felons locked up now because they're going to go get it, and then they're going to get locked up by cops.
You're funny you said that. I got to go look at the guy they arrested in Stanford and see if he made bail yet. I might make his bail.
Oh shit. That'll be interesting. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting
But it's
situation.
all how you use it, too. Because if I'm sitting here flashing it and running around,
I
deserve to be arrested for concealing me of a firearm or whatever the fuck it is,
Yeah.
But if I'm not doing that, I'm being a productive citizen and doing the right thing and just literally have it stored in my vehicle or on me for defense, then there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. No, you're right, man. Listen, you're exercising your rights. And this is the thing. Everybody's going to exercise their rights and they're going to do it.
That's correct. I need to protect myself.
Okay. Understandable. But like I said, everybody, people get upset when people are doing stuff like Kurt does, and I can understand that. All right, sometimes he's a little extreme. Sometimes he does things that he doesn't necessarily agree with after the fact, but he does them, and he's exercising his rights. He's educated, and this is the thing. I tell you guys to go get educated because you need to know your rights. Okay, and however you exercise those and you want to use them, that is your right. So you have to respect that. And as cops, good cops, we have to respect that too. So that's what we're here doing. All right. So listen, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Before we get out of here, go check out the Instagram, the TikTok. Go check out Kurt's page too. If you are somebody that wants to get involved with him, check out him on Facebook. I'm sure you can message him. And if you want to start helping him with his movement, his activism, things like that, just hit him up. And go check out the book on Amazon. It's called How to Protect Yourself in Police Encounters, things of that nature. You can check it out on our Instagram and click the link in the bio. We also have apparel that says Expose Corruption on the back of our T-shirts because that's what we're here to do as well. And we want the bad out also. So stay tuned for the next episode. We don't know who we're bringing on yet, but if you do want to come on the show, hit us up, DM us. We'll bring anybody on like you just saw, and we'll have a great conversation. So let's keep this rolling. All right, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Peace, my man. I'll talk to you
Thanks,
later.
Kurt. Have a good night.
Thank you. Yeah, you too.
Later, bro.